There we go. Now you guys can hear me. With that, we should actually be live and visible and audible and all that other fun stuff.
Hmm.
Audible. I would actually, you know what? I should actually look for sponsorship from them at some point. Maybe.
Yeah, get some great books.
Oh, yeah.
Expand your mind, child.
With that said, I see that we got 135 viewers here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. I know it's Monday and that kind of sucks, but hey, you get a live stream, so that's neat. Also, if you're a patron, there are actually 2 episodes that are going to be airing later this week, but you already will have access to them if you are subscribed on Patreon, because patrons now get early access to any and all videos as soon as production on them completes. So, that's a neat thing. Also, today we are going to be going over biblical gender roles because it is Monday, and that's a thing that we do sometimes on Mondays. And my guest today, is it? No, it's still technically midday ish.
Yeah,
My guest today is RinitaChan. Her link to her YouTube channel is in the description below. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain, except for the fact that it's Monday, so my work week technically began.
Yep. Well, I
So,
mean, mine's not beginning until tomorrow. I
fair enough.
get the day off.
Spark Member says, yay, Patreon benefits are neat. Fair enough. Also, there was another person in the chat earlier who said that they were happy that they are going to be able to play Borderlands 3 while also watching a Surus stream. I just wanted to let you know, if you did not know already, if you have Borderlands 3 and you're a fan of Holy Kool-Aid, 2 of the weapons in Borderlands 3 are actually named after Thomas Westbrook, the actual person behind the channel, Holy Kool-Aid. So go grab those weapons when you get a chance. I forgot which weapons they are. I think one of them is the HK-50, and there's another one that's the Thomas something, but I can't remember the name of it. But I'll have to check my Facebook feed to see which ones they are. But yeah, no, Holy Kool-Aid's definitely a good coworker of mine as far as YouTube is concerned. And the fact that he's got weapons in Borderlands named after him makes me somewhat jealous. But that's okay, Thomas. I'm not upset at all. So, with that said, I would normally plug stuff. I don't really feel like plugging stuff, and what I mean by I don't feel like plugging stuff is technically I have our Hammered Out set up right now, and because I have that set up, I actually can't grab any of the media that I normally would for for plugging merchandise and all that other fun stuff, so I guess I'm not doing any of that right now. But if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. That's both to my channel and to Renita's channel, since she is... There are currently more viewers on this one stream right now than she has subscribers, and I think we need to fix that. So, if
Oh,
possible, could you fix that? Please and thank you.
if you like creepypasta readings of bad ones where I give literary criticism and also make a bunch of jokes during that, then you would probably really enjoy it because we were reading a couple of terrible books that are written by a teenager, I think.
I think one of them was like wasn't it the Jeff the Killer novel that was written...
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually reading the sequel.
Oh my God.
It's worse. It's so much worse.
How do you get worse when you continue writing? You're supposed to expand and get better.
I know. How did she get worse? Because it's like the first book was just like Jeff the Killer with a couple of amended plot points. This one is just like a load of cringe and just like long-winded, boring stuff. As well as I think I have the book.
Long-winded, boring stuff in a creepy pasta. That sounds really weird and bad.
Like JC the Hyena rewriting Sonic.exe to imitate it chapter 1.
How can you rewrite Sonic.exe when it's already... I'm sorry. I am a Sonic fan and I'm a creepypasta fan, and I'm of the opinion that Sonic's flavored creepypastas are some of the hottest garbage. Sonic.exe
Yeah.
is hot garbage. Tails Doll is hot garbage. I'm
I need
sorry.
to read you one of those old Tales Doll stories because it does have a very funny line in it.
Oh my! You know what? You just is this headache relief?
Later.
This is headache relief. I think I'm gonna go ahead and...
But yeah, I actually have the book right here. Look at this. And then look at how thick it is.
And it's a boring book.
And also, look at how little text is on these pages.
Oh my God!
This is egregious.
That reminds me of like those old books that you get for like first and second graders. Or like this is so that your reading comprehension can actually like get better as you read, because instead of paragraphs, we have each individual sentence separated from the others. And yes, Spark Bomber, I do realize that Sonic.exe was made into a realish game. It doesn't make it palatable. I'm sorry. If you want good video game creepypastas, okay? We're gonna tangent for like a minute before we get into B.G.R.
Try Kill Switch.
Kill Switch I have not heard, but I would say that the two that really get to me, Pokemon Black is a good one, because everything about the game is kept internally to the cartridge. There's not any... There's almost not even any supernatural stuff in that story. It's literally just, this is a creepy thing that a person found, and if anybody in real life found it, they would be incredibly unsettled. And then on top of that, there's also Ben Drowned. Again, a story that is kept entirely into the idea of this is on the cartridge. And what's funny is that the Ben Drowned story, the actual video behind it, wasn't even done by changing a cart. It was all done with stuff that just existed in Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I know, and it was so avant-garde because they just went in and they did the work. They went in and hacked the game, and they actually made this stuff, which is admirable that you were going to put in that much work just to scare people.
Yes, like those are iterations of video game-centered creepypastas that I think work really well. And actually, when you're talking about creepy Sonic stuff, there is stuff within the Sonic series that is creepy on its own. In fact, go to the sound test in Sonic CD and find some of the stuff in there that says, like, Sega is fun forever, but...
Like fun is infinite with Sega.
Yes,
that's... Majin, or a word for Satan, essentially, or devil.
It's some creepy stuff. If you actually haven't seen it before, here, we're going to do a quick
US
thing.
Game Over music.
Let's see here. Fun is infinite with Sega. Just so you guys know what I'm referring to, it is this. Give me just a second here. Okay. This is incredibly unsettling, but it exists on the game for Sonic CD. You don't have to do anything to change it in any way, shape, or form. Enjoy. This is just on the CD.
There's also some funny ones in there as well, but this is a creepy one.
Yeah, this is just there. This is... So when somebody's like, hey, I've got some creepy video game stuff, no. Sonic's already got creep inside it. It does it fine on its own.
Need we also point out Mephiles the Dark?
Mephiles is an incredible... The way that he moves and shuffles in Shadow's body is incredibly creepy. But that's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah, another time.
That said, I see that Viviana B says, I am uncomfortable.
Good.
Yeah, no, seriously, good. 10 out of 10. It's very, very good. All right, cool. Now,
also, I have here Minikyu.
I have...
I'm just cuddling it because I'm uncomfortable. It's cute.
Vilas in the chat goes, I'm made much more comfortable by your lack of comfort. Isn't that like kink shame? That's like the whole kink shaming is my kink thing.
It's like, don't kink shame me, but kink shaming is my kink.
Alrighty. So with that said, Renita, you can see the B.G.R. article, right?
I can.
Cool. All right, so if you are watching, the B.G.R. article will be on screen. If you are listening, then obviously we're going to be narrating as we go through. We'll probably go back to back to back with the actual words, with the actual paragraphs. If you want as well, if you want to follow along, we actually have the article itself inside the description, as well as the affiliate link in there where apparently the atheist YouTuber now has an affiliate market with a sex shop. Apparently. As a thing. So yeah, that's there as well. Coupon code Cirrus if you want to get anything there. That way I actually get something from it. Otherwise, you're just supporting them and not me. But, anywho. I just figured I'd throw that out there because I don't know if it would make BGR incredibly uncomfortable to know that I just advertised sex toys over his lovely article saying that dating is cruel
Then
to
again,
men.
I mean, he actually has put out articles that say, like, in defense of masturbation. So apparently he doesn't have anything against people masturbating.
Yes, but the actual shop that I'm affiliated with is DDLG Playground, which I'm fairly certain he would consider. I'm fairly certain he would be against that. Very
I'm
against
certain he would
that.
not like to look under my pillow.
I don't think I want to know what's under your pillow.
Just one thing, that's it.
I'm
Well,
good.
under one of them is a knife,
A knife!
just in case,
No!
like, I wake up and I get scared.
I mean, I've got a hammer.
I go get mine.
Yeah. The actual hammer.
Not my hammer, but the knife I'm talking about. If you've ever heard of Alice the Madness Returns, it looks a little like that knife.
Fair enough. We also have the hammer, but the hammer is in disrepair for reasons that I will not get into currently. This actually has to do with the conversation that we had earlier that I'm not talking about yet. So just so you know, that's a thing that happened too. It's a very kitchen knife.
It is a kitchen knife. As in, this is a real blade.
Fair. That also looks like the
I handle
knife.
a knife, so I don't get hurt.
That also looks like the knife that Kara uses in Undertale.
It does a lot. Oh, and I'm glad I met somebody else who says Kara instead of, like, Kara.
So the only reason that I would call it Kara is because it's short for character, but at the same time, I kind of don't care. So Chara,
I just prefer saying it that way.
Chara or Kara sounds a lot closer to like a fictional character's name. Not to mention Kara's a little too close to Karen. And I don't think I want Kara just sitting there with a knife saying, "I'd like to see your manager."
Wait. Just trying to gather up my hair mostly. Like,
Oh,
God
God
damn it.
Okay.
Now,
Raylock says he wants to make Captain Hammer jokes. I am
the
so.
hammer is my penis.
God damn it. You beat me before I could make it. I'm a fan of
I don't have
Dr.
a
Horrible's. I'm a fan of Dr. Horrible sing along blog, so that joke makes me happy.
I've actually not seen the whole thing yet. I need to, but I heard that one stream you did with Ocean, also talking about B.G.R. So I'm gonna give her the hammer tonight.
Annie just gave me a terrible pun, and Annie doesn't deserve love anymore as a result of that. I'm actually in the middle of a D&D campaign with Annie, so the next time that I see them in that campaign, I may or may not attempt to kill their character now. Just because we're here. All right. Okay. That said,
moving on.
Let's get away from the tangents and into how the modern practice of Christian dating is cruel to men. Apparently.
Ooh, you big baby.
Alrighty, so let's see what we've got here. Beginning with, many Christians advocate for teaching teens and young adults abstinence. They are right in doing so. No, they're not. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead. It took him 2 sentences to be wrong. No, they are not wrong they are incredibly wrong in saying that abstinence only education is something that they should actually be going for, because what we have found in the states that practice abstinence only education in the system, so this goes over and above parents, this is literally just the way the education system functions, states that practice abstinence only education or get even close to that have higher rates of pregnancy, higher rates of STDs, and higher rates of abortion. So guess what, B.G.R.? I know that B.G.R. is anti-abortion.
You are defeating your own purpose.
Not only is he defeating his own purpose, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Congratulations, B.G.R. Your argument kills kids.
Mm-hmm.
You
are just as much an accessory to the murders that you condemn.
Yep.
As you are an advocate against them.
Yep. It is better. Teens, what that tells us is that it doesn't matter if you tell teens not to have sex or not. They're going to do it. Just no ifs, ands, or buts, no way around it. It's going to happen. It may not happen with yours, but it's going to happen on a large enough scale that you need to just deal with the fact that it's going to happen. As a result of that, It is better to teach your children that, hey, it's okay to have sex, but please do it safely. Make sure that the person that you're with is a safe person. Make sure to get yourself tested. Planned Parenthood is good for that. They actually will let you get tested there, and it's actually really cost effective to do it through a Planned Parenthood, even though they keep defunding them. On top of that, make sure that you have condoms on you, and make sure also that you don't just keep the condoms in your fucking wallet because they deteriorate with heat. These are things that you learn when you have an education system that is not incredibly biblical. But here we are.
And yep, here we are.
All right. That said, the Bible teaches sexual relations between a man and a woman are reserved for marriage. And it's a good thing it's wrong. But the majority of abstinence training only teaches half of the abstinence God calls for when it comes to intimate relationships between men and women. Oh, so the majority of abstinence training doesn't go far enough in telling people to abstain.
So, honestly, if these people are like, oh, well, let's save all of our affection for each other on the honeymoon, you're going to get two people who are going to rip each other apart on the honeymoon.
Or, awkwardly, you're going to get two people who find out that they're sexually incompatible.
I know. I'm
honeymoon.
going by, like, best possible scenario that they were compatible.
Oh, see, I don't...
Like,
see, I would like...
each other up.
I would like to go for the best possible scenario, but at the same time, nah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nah.
This half-measure abstinence that is taught in most churches today has led to modern practices in Christian dating that encourage emotional cruelty towards men. Oh, okay. How so?
Excuse me?
He thinks that the best way to illustrate the cruelty of so-called Christian dating is with a story.
Oh, wonderful. I am a storyteller as well.
Well, since you're a storyteller, let's go ahead and begin here. Go ahead and take care of these with your storyteller voice.
Okay. Jonathan was a young Christian man raised in a conservative Baptist church. All growing up and in his teen group, he was taught that sex is for marriage. All growing up.
That's
This whole time, like the whole time he was growing up.
Remember, B.G.R. has an editor.
Yes, and they are shit at their job. They need to be fired.
I'm beginning to think that their editor.
I have the same. That their editor is just themselves.
I have the same belief in their editor that I have for Yahweh. Just throwing that out there.
I have the same belief in their editor that I do in Huitzilopochtli.
Well, marriage is honorable and all, and the bed... Wait. Oh, sorry. I know that's
marriage
actually...
is honorable and all.
The way that read, marriage is honorable and all. I'm sorry. That's the Southerner in me.
Marriage is honorable and all, but come on.
Okay, continue.
Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Hasn't done that yet, so... He memorized this passage from Hebrews and countless other passages of Scripture. He has nothing else in his life other than Jigas. He was determined that he would not have sex before marriage and prayed each day for the Holy Spirit to help him avoid sinful thoughts of trying to get any woman to have sex with him before marriage.
All right.
Just the one.
I need to do a thing. This is okay. Let's do a thing real quick. Also, apparently, okay. So here we're gonna do a thing real quick. What is it? We're going to play a song, a very brief song. Very, very brief.
Galactic Mermaid, I will just sing it.
No.
Oh yes, I love this song.
You know I am a righteous man.
That's as far as we can get without copyright hitting it, but that's the first thing that came to mind. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on. Jonathan,
you want me to keep reading?
I'll get the next two paragraphs and then we'll bounce.
Okay.
So, I see that. I see the chat. People are like, "Oh God." Jonathan attended a conservative Christian college. I almost did that, where he felt the call of God on his life to become a minister. Of course, he did.
I attended one too.
while he was studying for the ministry, he was introduced to a beautiful young woman named Sarah. Are you sure it wasn't Esmeralda? Are you sure? Are you certain?
Don't implicate me in this, B.G.R.
He befriended Sarah, and eventually he approached her in the college library and asked her on a date. And what did you say?
I said, "Sir, would you kindly suck my dick?"
Sarah told Jonathan...
And they use the phrase, "would you kindly," because it usually works in BioShock.
It does only if you're Atlas.
Well, I mean, it does at my other work when I ask people, like, "would you kindly do this?" And they usually go like, "Oh, well, okay, at least you're being polite about it."
Oh, they have no idea that you're memeing on them.
Uh-huh. And
Yep.
that I'm somehow subtly controlling them.
This was like my managers at McDonald's who thought that I was actually being remorseful when I said I care deeply and sincerely about your dilemma and I offer my condolences. Like, no, I'm being snide. I'm being incredibly snide.
I'm being sarcastic. It's more like, I'm trying to loosen you up so then you will do this thing that I know you probably don't want to do. When I say, like, the "would you kindly" bit.
Well, the Sarah in this story told Jonathan that she would love to go out with him, but he must agree to some things first. She told him, "I believe that sex is reserved for marriage, and that includes all sexual touching. Eventually, I may let you give me a peck on the lips and hold my hand, but that is as far as I believe God would have us go." This is how you know the story's fictional. Nobody speaks this way.
Yeah, no.
Jonathan...
I mean, I told my ex-boyfriend that and the stuff that happened to me. So it's just like, yeah, so if you want to do any physical affection, let's just take it slow a little bit, okay? I'm fine with hand-holding, but we'll have to probably work up to, like, the kissing bit. I'm also okay with hugging.
So Jonathan replied, "That's great. I feel the same way." And they agree to date the following week. On the night of their first date, as Jonathan approaches her dorm to pick her up, he's nervous and excited all at the same time. Those are only two emotions. You don't need the all. You don't.
He was both nervous and excited.
But well, actually, you know what? I forget that B.G.R. has the emotional threshold of like the tip of a pin needle. So two emotions at once, that's a lot.
Oh, that's asking way too much.
It really is.
He has to be just stoic constantly. Here, I'll demonstrate.
He has bought her a beautiful bouquet of roses, and he can't wait to give them to her. You're really going all... It's just a first date, dude.
That's too much.
It's
Maybe
just
like
a first date.
Carnation or something.
Yeah, like a single flower, like, "Hey, I picked this for you on the way," as opposed to, "Hey, here's my entire heart." No, maybe you should just slow down. When he sees her come out of her dorm...
Don't worry about it.
He is breathtaking... His breath is taken away by her beauty. But you've already seen her before. Okay.
Maybe he means that she put more effort into her appearance.
Apparently so. Now with makeup. She graciously
Honestly,
accepts...
I never wear makeup.
She graciously accepts his flowers, hands them off to her girlfriend. Jonathan, I have some bad news for you. I have some bad news. If she isn't poly, she's already taken, and she's probably gay. She graciously accepts his flowers, hands them off to her girlfriend, and they were off on their first date. The real reason she didn't want sexual touching is because she prefers taco to sausage.
Yep. I mean, taco's the only food where you can crane your neck this way and still eat it normally.
All right.
I'm talking about actual taco.
This reminds me, we just got some taco shells last night. I should make tacos tonight.
Delicious.
Maybe. No, I'm making chicken tenders tonight.
And I've heard you're a chicken tender wizard.
Yeah, according to Ocean, I'm a wizard when it comes to chicken tenders, and he should know he's a wizard. But not in the racist way. That's a different kind of wizard.
Not that kind.
We don't like those kind of wizards. Alrighty. You go ahead and get the next bits. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the portions so that we don't overstep each other.
All right. At the restaurant, they talk and explore one another's lives. I was almost about to read explore one another's bodies, but then I remembered it's not a smut fic.
I was about to say, did you read smut before this?
I might have. You never know.
Well then.
They both want this night to never end. Are we sure he didn't just lift this from a smut fic and just change bodies to lives?
This sounds like... Okay, quick tangent. Has anybody actually heard 50 Shades of Grey as read by... Hold on. Where is it? Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey as read by Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
You have? For those who haven't, I'm gonna go ahead. It occurs to me that you can't actually.
No, I'm crying.
It occurs to me that you can't actually see this. Hold on one sec, or you can't hear the things come. Oh, you probably. Okay. Share.
Maybe.
Computer sound. There we go. Okay, you should be able to see again.
But I'm somehow gone. Oh, right, yeah, you're just showing your stuff.
Okay, so for those who haven't heard it, I'm suddenly reminded of this. I'm not going to do it for a lot because, again, copyright reasons, but...
50 Shades of Grey, the erotic best-selling novel read by Gilbert Gottfried.
My inner goddess has stopped dancing and is staring too, open-mouthed and drooling slightly.
Hear it the way it was meant to be heard.
Keep still, he orders, and slowly he inserts his thumb inside me, rotating it around and around, stroking the front wall of my vagina.
Okay, quick tip: if you were going to write smut, don't use the word vagina. It's too clinical.
Euphemism is your best friend in writing, okay? The look
Just
on her
use the phrase
face.
like, prepare to stick this pork sword down my goop chute.
It is better to say, for instance, just as an idea, I felt him pushing up against my womb as opposed to he inserted his dick in my vagubu. Like, one of those sounds a little more intimate. But remember...
No fisting, you say? Anything else you object to? I agree to the fisting, but I'd really like to claim your ass!
Famed voice actor.
Okay. That's enough of that. That's enough of that.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
When I see badly written smut, that's what comes to mind. 50 Shades of Grey as read by Gilbert Gottfried. The video that cures all depression. Rule number 1.
You can also listen to me read My Immortal and make fake sex sounds.
Elusive Entity says, I agreed to the fisting. Southern Witch says, well, I'm drier than the Sahara. Also, we have a super chat that came in a few minutes ago from Dracoris Felving for $2. Oh my.
Oh my.
Alrighty. Alright, continue on, Renita. I figured we needed that break.
Yes, we did. And we're, like, I still can't see anything. Like, I think my camera is gone.
Your camera's on. You're good.
Oh, okay. I just can't see it anymore.
No, I see it on the, I can see it on my stream. Yeah, I can see it on the stream. You're good.
Okay. I don't know why I can't see it then.
What are you looking at? Like the YouTube video?
No, I'm looking at the window.
Oh, well, that's because you're here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Afterward, they go for a long walk, just continuing to talk. You're a poet and you didn't know it. There is no physical contact. No holding hands. But there is no physical contact. Excuse me, I read that wrong.
Holding hands? That's lewd.
Yes. And if you went to a school during, like a public school in the early 2000s during, like, in Tennessee, they were like, no holding hands! That leads to banging! Yeah, excuse me.
Reminds
Sarah
me.
and Jonathan are both having the same thoughts, and this is a key indicator that this story is false. I would sure love to hold their hand, but I know I can't. Not yet.
Not that I. That sounds
But no
so.
now.
That sounds so creepy. Just, I can't hold her hand. Not yet. First,
Come
it's the
on,
hand
dude.
holding, and then it's a slippery slope into fisting.
First it's hand holding, and then, whoop, your penis is inside me.
Forensic Ahut says, "I can't deal with this uncensored hand holding."
They just need like a sensor bar.
Dracoris Felving for $2 also said, "So that's a cold shower."
Okay. Jonathan drops her off at her dorm, where she and her girlfriend immediately go inside and actually have the affection that she was wanting from Jonathan but would not get. And while he wishes he could have held her hand and kissed her goodnight, he still had a wonderful time. It doesn't sound like it. Within just a few weeks of dating, Jonathan tells Sarah for the first time that he loves her, and she tells him that she loves him. Things are moving way too fast.
Wait, how did he determine that within just a few weeks of dating? That's usually one of those emotions that, like, you figure that out a little later. I mean, sometimes it happens sooner, don't get me wrong. Like, me and Raz, we knew that we loved each other probably about a week and a half in, but we also were living together a lot earlier because circumstances were kind of strange. So we were spending, like, 24 hours a day together at the time, not like a couple hours every now and again, as is the case here. And then me and Aaron didn't date for, like, 5 months while living in the same house. So, no, this is a bit quick.
Yeah, and it's like, my boyfriend, actually, my first, like, serious ex-boyfriend told me on the second date, when we hadn't seen each other for a couple of months, that he loved me. And, well, my current one waited 3 months or so before actually telling me he loved me on Halloween.
Yeah, this is just a bit quick.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, when you're sexually repressed this way, I guess that's kind of what happens.
You immediately conflate all, like, sexual feelings towards this person with, I love them. It's like, what? No, I'm sure they're the one. It's not that I'm just wanting to get this out of my nuts.
We can't have sex until we're married. All right, here's a ring. That's what happens there. Also, Velis in the chat says, "Wait, Cyrus and Aaron are dating now?" Yes, we've been dating for like 2.5 months. This is. I've actually got like a few episodes where I specifically say, "Oh, by the way, and here is my partner who is going to explain this thing." That's also the reason she's doing my Friday episodes now.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's me dating Emmett, Gaelic Knox, who just happened in the chat, Raz,
Hello.
who has the channel Creepy Eevees, and Aaron, who has the channel Aaron's Chair, who does my Friday videos. Also, Emmett, you may want to rewind a little bit, because we may have played a thing earlier that you want to hear.
People could see me, like, falling over and dying.
Just so you know.
Okay. Over several weeks, Jonathan and Sarah continue to date. With each passing date, he so wants to hold her hand and kiss her goodnight. He also finds that he really wants to do much more. We're talking about banging! Alright. Each date,
he wants to do much more.
He wants to penetrate her vagina!
Begin sexual RP! It's like, we shall now commence the sex.
Emmett has asked me to play the thing from before, so I'll go ahead and continue it a little bit real quick since we're here.
Dr. Gilbert Gottfried gives a reading that can only be described as sensual.
Holy fuck, is this wrong? But holy hell, is it erotic?
Let Christian Gray seduce you over and over again through the voice of Gilbert Gottfried.
But when he hits my clitoris, I cry out loudly. Oh, please, I groan. Quiet, he orders, not taking his eyes off mine. He scrunches my panties in his hand, holds them up to his nose, and inhales deeply.
You literally just said that he's a panty sniffer.
Oh, God.
Okay, so, Emmett, just so you know, anybody who's just now coming in, that is 50 Shades of Grey as read by Gilbert Gottfried. And the reason that we pointed that out is because the story that Biblical Gender Roles is currently trying to sell us reads like a badly written erotica. So I figured, why not go ahead and go for one of the worst written eroticas? As read by Gilbert Gottfried.
It's like he stuck my thing, it's like he stuck his thing in my you-know-what, and we did it.
German visitor says the clitoris doesn't exist, it's a hoax. Look, it's not my fault that you can't find it.
Look, it's not rocket
I'm sorry.
science. It's not rocket surgery or brain science. You can find it pretty easy. Just look for the thing that looks like the head of a penis, and then you're done.
I'm sorry, German. I didn't mean for that to be like needlessly cruel, but that's the first thing that I had to say. Anywho.
Oh, I love this one. It's like, the story sounds like a Character X reader fanfiction on Quotev. Hey, don't knock it. It's actually not that bad. And it's like, if you get better at it, then you will actually have something pretty good on your hands. Like Granddaughter Og writes some really good stuff on AO3 Archive of Our Own.
Oh God, I'm suddenly reminded that I actually have a story on Archive of Our Own. Huh.
Yeah, I do too. I should delete it because it's not very good.
As our
but it's better written than that.
As are most stories on Archive of Our Own. Both better written and not very good.
Well, I mean, you have a good mix. But I decided I need some more comfort, so I brought over...
Alright, so I think you've got just a little bit left in this paragraph.
Right. Each date, he begins more and more to imagine what she looks like without clothes, and how wonderful it would be to touch her body, how wonderful it would be to have sex with her. But he dismisses these thoughts as wicked and sinful, and asks God to forgive him each and every day, several times a day.
I'm suddenly reminded... Okay, who here has seen the Castlevania anime?
I haven't yet. I need to.
There's a character...
I don't have Netflix.
There's a character in it who, in Season 2, is shown that he self-flagellates. And he literally just... Some guy just comes in, and he's just sitting there whipping himself. And he's like, why do you do that? And he's just sitting there explaining why he's whipping himself constantly. And it's... I'm just reminded of that. Just like this little Christian boy. God, I did wrong. I did bad. I did wrong. I did bad. Now, it's kind of ironic considering that the character I'm talking about literally slaughters priests in the story. So, I mean, not a good one-to-one comparison, but still.
Like, God, I'm bad.
Fleur in Hell
Slapping
says...
yourself.
Fleur in Hell says, punish me, daddy in the sky, ooh-woo.
Ugh. It's like, smite me, sky daddy. Like, no. But yeah, it sounds a lot like, I don't know, me. When I was a lot younger, and I'm just like, God, I'm disgusting.
Well, remember that the biggest problem here is that sex, in this sense, when it's before marriage, has nothing to do with God. And a Christian boy, like B.G.R., would respond like so.
Paganism.
Oh, no, that's not the clip. Here it is.
It has nothing to do with any god or...
Nothing to do with God.
There it is.
Yes!
I have that clip saved for future reference.
I love that animation. It's so good.
It is. But that clip is saved for future reference, so I can just have the reaction, nothing to do with God?
Hey, Konami, why don't you start putting some more work into, I don't know, bringing back one of your best horror franchises? Angry Silent Hill fan over here.
You can have Downpour and PT.
I can't get PT.
I know, because Hideo Kojima's on. He's working on Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, and like reminded me of a thing from like an E3 thing. Like last year we had Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus, and this year we had Keanu Reeves and the Cyber Thieves.
Oh my god.
He's made many mistakes.
This is a clip that I'm going to use for the next time I tackle Damien Prosolandes, just so everyone knows. I'm going to start with this clip.
I don't know why you find this so funny, Damien. I'm gonna hurt you.
And halfway through the video,
He's made many mistakes.
and if I find an excuse to have this clip, I'm going to use it. Just so you guys know, it's a thing I do. I harvest shit so that I can use them later. Most of the time, they don't make it into videos, but...
Oh, it's and people know.
My nipples. My goofy teeth.
So, if I can find a way to insert all three of those into my next Damien Prosolandes video, I'm going to. Jared Whittaker has seen what I'm talking about because he knows the meme, I'm jiggling with rage!
I'm jiggling with rage.
It's a wonderful video series where Goofy is attempting to get money that a guy named Damien, who's rooming with him, owes him. There's a lot of wonderful things. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. I have a thing. Aha, there it is. It is because of that video series that I actually got one of these things that you're supposed to work out your grip with, just so I can at some point do a tribute to that going, I'm working on my choking hand. So
They took my squeezing arm. Why am I squeezing arm?
So if you guys haven't seen that series, it is excellent. All right, let's continue.
Okay.
So eventually, on one date, she reaches out to hold his hand. That's so lewd. That's
That harlot.
that whore! To let him know that it's now okay. At the end of the night, she gives him a goodnight peck on the lips to let him know that that is now okay too. These things feel wonderful to Jonathan, but he longs for so much more. Now let's return to the beginning of Jonathan and Sarah's relationship and look at it from Sarah's perspective. After that first date, she was on cloud 9. As they continued to date, she was fantasying?
Fantasying.
Fantasying,
You facile shit.
Have you ever written a thing wait a minute. Wait. Don't most word processors catch shit like that?
Oh my god, he doesn't have word processor. He must be so poor.
Open Office exists!
And it's free!
Apache software is free, my dude! Google Docs is free!
Google Docs is free and it has a word processor. And if you have something like, I don't know, WordPad because you're fucking poor or because you don't want to download Open Office, Grammarly! You can actually add some words to Grammarly. Like if you're a fanfic writer and you're writing something that has to do with like characters whose names are not common exactly, you can actually add that to the dictionary so it won't autocorrect it. Which is useful.
So as they continued to date, she was fantasying about how big their wedding would be. Jonathan!
I'm sorry.
Jonathan, get out! This woman is not good for you. If she wants to marry you after one date, that is a red flag, sir. That is bad.
She's clingy.
Get out! This woman is scary. You are probably dating a yandere. Don't do it.
Like, no, don't stick your dick in crazy. You're dating a yandere.
It's bad. Look, I get it. If you want to fantasize about characters like Kara, I understand. But don't stick your dick in it. Bad.
If you want to fantasize about characters like, I'm going to be showing my own hand here a bit. If you want to fantasize about characters like War, fine. Don't do it. He'd probably rip you in half.
And, don't get me wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. I can understand if you enjoy characters like Kara. If I actually go to... I didn't realize I actually had so much stuff here. If I actually go there, my battle tag is there.
That is a good picture.
So, I too am a fan of the psychotic killer type characters. I get it. I understand. Don't do it. It's bad.
Well, I guess the person that I'm talking about is not psychotic murderer, but if, like, again, showing my hand here, if you want to fantasize about someone like, oh, I don't know, Cell, that's fine. Just don't do it.
Cell, like Cell from Dragon Ball?
Yes.
You know,
I was an adolescent when I saw it. Don't judge me.
I wish I could say something about it, but I know for a fact that my cousin had an unhealthy obsession with Cell when she was like, let's see, I was 8 or 9 when the Cell saga was happening, so she would have been about 13 or 14. So yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. There's where her unhealthy obsession with Cell was. Frieza is... I mean,
his English voice is hot.
I mean, so Frieza in the first run of the Funimation dub did not have what we would call an attractive voice, unless you consider Genkai's voice attractive. But
the voice actress died, didn't she?
Can we please have a dark tournament to bring her back? It worked the last time.
But Chris Aries is really good.
Yes, the current voice actor for Frieza does an excellent job, not only at giving us a good official voice actor that sounds like Little Karibo's Frieza, but it's also incredibly close to the Japanese voice actor for Frieza, which is also good.
He's like more cold and calculating.
Yes.
As well as more like a refined sense of evil.
He's cold, calculating, he's refined, which makes sense considering Akira Toriyama based Frieza off of literal land sharks and hyper-capitalists that he had an issue with when he was growing up in Japan. So it's like, yeah, no, this person, he would be an articulate aristocrat, because that's literally the character.
Yes, I know, and that's like, it's an interesting character that I like and that I really enjoy writing for. Because I'm helping a friend write a fanfic that involves him.
Smitty says he only accepts the original dub since the voice of Gohan was changed. So I'm going to be honest, I was not a fan of the new voice for Gohan in the remake of Dragon Ball Z when Kai did the redub. However, the new voice of Gohan... The new voice of Gohan actually does grow on me, and not just because, again, it's closer to the Dragon Ball Z abridged voice. It's amazing how many of their actors that they changed got closer to DBZ abridged version. We know that Christopher Sabat is a fan of DBZ abridged, and that Sean Shammel's a piece of shit. Sorry, I hate Sean Schammel.
I should have shut up, Schammel.
I do not like Sean Schammel.
As much as I dislike him as a person, I love his take on Goku, though. It's literally when I read anything from him, I just hear his voice in my head.
Fair, although I will say this, my beef with Sean, it is all like personal. I like his Goku, but I don't like Sean the person. Though I do find it incredibly telling that Sean's issues with other voice actors pretty much start and end with, did they do Goku as well? We've seen this from like how many people he's actually gotten to be disinvited from conventions based on whether or not they once voiced the character.
Wait a second. Please tell me he did not disinvite the lady who does it in the Japanese dub.
Oh, no, he can't do that. But he disinvited the voice actor for Goku who voiced the Ocean Group dub. He had enough influence. And granted, Vic Mignogna's done stuff like this as well, but with Vic, it's he doesn't disinvite people. He just gets them put into different paneling areas, so their panels end up changing. Sean Schammel has actually like kicked people out or got them disinvited before they actually could get to go to conventions. And I think that the reason that he has such an issue with Dragon Ball Z abridged, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, is because Moscow X does a better Goku than Sean.
He does.
I'm sorry. That's my muffin button for the day.
Ooh. But, well, there's also... I did want to share a little bit about, this is a touching story. Mm-hmm. This is for the Japanese voice actress who plays Goku in the Japanese version. Mm-hmm. There's a little boy in the hospital that was a huge fan of Dragon Ball, and he was hospitalized with a terminal condition. The boy's father wrote to her and asked her if she could just send an autographed picture. She did something better. She actually recorded a line where she was saying, like, "Hey, I'm Goku," and then said the kid's name. It's like, "I'll see you at the theater, promise me." And the kid actually was able to go to the theater and see Broly, the film. And he went back to the hospital, but unfortunately the next day he passed away.
At least you got to see the film beforehand, though. Like,
yeah, I know, but that was just, that was so sweet.
It was. That's a lot like the story that happened with... Sometimes those, like, Make-A-Wish style stories end up actually having a positive thing that happens at the end of them, too. Tyler the Great, if you're familiar with that story, he actually had a Yu-Gi-Oh card designed by Konami for him as a Make-A-Wish thing, where he said, hey, I'd like to be in the game. That's the thing that I want. And Konami acquiesced and said, cool. And they gave him a copy of the Tyler the Great card, which his name was Tyler, obviously was based on him. And it's him as a Super Saiyan, since we're on the topic of Dragon Ball. But he actually ended up surviving cancer. So now he just has the card as a memento from that time. So sometimes you get positive stories from that. Mm-hmm. Smitty asks, does Yu-Gi-Oh still exist? My friend,
buddy.
My dude. Yes, it does. It very does.
Do you even need to ask?
Wait, which decks do you have?
These are the starter decks, and I actually have special sleeves for them. This is the Kaiba one.
Okay.
And the other one is Yugi themed.
Hold on one sec.
And I have special sleeves for this one as well. So, I got these cards. I'll just wait till he comes back to show him the thing.
Okay. Obviously, this is what happens when we do biblical gender roles. Other things happen. Okay, hold up. Let's see here. We have... Which one are you? Ah, yep. We have Dark Magician deck.
Mm-hmm.
We have a different one here, which is the Endymion deck, or actually, yeah, this is Endymion, however you want to pronounce it. I have that one set up because 3 structure decks and a full deck that's tournament ready is a really good deal. Thanks, Konami. It's like one of the few non-shitty things you do.
And also, I was going to show you the card sleeves I have for this one. This is my Yugi deck. On the back, though.
Is that hieroglyphs? It's
also got the Millennium Puzzle on it.
I just realized I don't even have to actually show any credentials for me being a Yu-Gi-Oh fan.
It's right there.
I forgot that's there.
With the Pharaoh on it.
Yep. Yeah, that's my attempt at being a fan.
Yeah. But yeah, I've got my 2 decks right here, as well as a binder full of cards.
I forgot this also exists. This is my GOAT format deck for anybody who plays GOAT. So, there. And then that's not counting the other decks that we have here that are not mine, because I could also grab Aaron's deck and Raz's decks from over here as well. But again, those are not my decks. Those are their decks. Also, the Legendary Collections come with this thing, which, if you're a fan of them, cool. I'm not a big fan of them, but they're here. So, anyway.
Oh, yeah. And,
oh, yeah, that's right.
Gary Whittaker's, pulls out dual disc.
You mean that? You mean that thing? That's a thing that I have. Anyway.
Oh, boy.
Alrighty. Now that we've actually gotten all that fun stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Let us continue with B.G.R. All right. The fact that he was handsome didn't hurt. Oh, hold on. As I continue.
Wait. Continue fantasying about how big their wedding.
Okay, that's where we were.
When you read that part, it's I was almost thinking that you were gonna say how big his dick was.
She was almost fantasying about penis. So.
Filthy girl.
As they continued to date, she was fantasying about how big his penis would be. She was imagining how many children they would have and how she would decorate her home.
Giggity!
That's not what she was imagining. If she's imagining having kids with you after the first date, abandon ship. It's time to go.
It's like, abandon ship, bail, get out of there.
The fact that he was handsome didn't hurt either. Of course it didn't. This is lust.
Of course.
This is just lust.
Shallow.
Sarah had always worried if she would be able to find both a godly and a handsome man, and in Jonathan she had found both. She couldn't wait to kiss him and hold his hand, but she made herself wait. She knew that there needed to be some time. She didn't want to give Jonathan the impression that she was one of those easy girls, or think she would do other things too. Okay, look,
I'm have to put restriction on hand holding, you sociopath.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I have never gone on a first date where kissing happened on the first date, and I thought that sex was going to happen. There is never a point in time. Now, I may have wanted it because I happen to have a libido, but there is not a point in time where I've gone on that first date and then immediately thought, we gon' fuck! That's not a thing that has occurred to me, and I'm the filthy atheist with no morals who has a sex shop in the affiliate link. So, like, I feel like B.G.R. doesn't actually know how dating works.
He does not, because obviously he advocates against it. But still, it's like, honestly, if I were going to be doing this like first date thing with my current boyfriend, and there was like an expectation that we might kiss, it's because we've actually been going out long distance for months. Yeah. And it's just like, actually getting to see you, I'm overwhelmed with emotion. First I want to give you a gigantic bear hug, and then I want to give you a kiss. But it's just like...
Well, I mean, when Emmett gets here, we're going to kiss, and maybe other things will happen as well, but me and Emmett have been dating since, like, early February. So, by the time she gets here in November, it will have been, like, 9 months. So, I mean, at that point, that's different, though. That's not what this is.
Yeah, I know. Plus, you have a healthy respect for her.
I would hope so. If I didn't have one, she wouldn't help me with thumbnails at all, and we wouldn't be dating, and she would probably hate me.
Yes, exactly, because, like I was saying, like you have a healthy respect for her and what she wants, and she also has a healthy respect for you, because, you know, respect is a two-way street.
Oh my god. This fucking... Duck sent me a thing. He said that every single time that I mention Dragon Ball on the chat, at Dragon Ball in the stream, this is what the chat says.
That's right, I heard the story over and 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 over and
Okay.
Spinel.
I don't know. I love Spinel's song.
Spinel is so cursed. There's
Spinel's
so
a
much
cool character, though.
She is, but there's so many cursed images you can get from her because of the style of animation.
Well, it's Fleischer style.
Yes, that old Disney, very fluid.
Rubber hose.
Where characters don't have anatomy.
Or they have the plastic ability like Oswald the Lucky Rabbit does.
Yeah, and that's... Smitty says most of the songs...
I'm just going to keep going and getting blushies.
Smitty says most of the songs in the movie were cringy. So, I disagree. I found certain lyrics in the songs to be kind of cringy, like when Steven says, totally us, totally me. Like, I found that line in particular cringy, but the actual, like, full songs, not so much. The battle song that they had in the final battle, like, every battle song that happened in there, I didn't mind. I think the opening song, though, was a fucking cringe fest. The We Believe in Steven. Like, that song upset me because I was like, if this is the style of song we're gonna get for the rest of this, I'm gonna be real upset. But luckily, the movie delivered actual good songs afterwards.
But yeah, I went and got this. This is Oswald.
I now have a sudden urge to replay Epic Mickey.
Yeah, that's where I first found out about him.
It was
I actually, this is the one that I cuddle with while I'm sleeping.
All right, and I will get the next paragraph, and then after that we will do our swap.
Okay.
Finally, after several weeks of dating, she felt it was time to let herself go. Oh, now they gonna fuck! And hold his hand for the very first time. It's not like she likes him or anything, but Baka.
It's not like I like you or anything, Baka.
At the end of the night, she would give him that good night kiss that she had so long to do since ending her first date.
Going to give him that good night kiss on his dick.
Yeah, no, the kiss is not on the lips, sir. That's not what happened. Though there is a kiss she probably gave on the lips, considering that you said earlier in the story she had a girlfriend. That's a different style of lip, though. That's a different kind.
Giggity.
All right. Swapping over.
Okay. Every day he texted her, and she couldn't wait to hear about his day and to share the happenings of her day with him, like healthy people in a relationship. Every beep of her phone was a thrill. Are you sure it didn't turn into a vibration?
Every beep of the phone was a okay, look, that's... I'm not going to say that's a bad sign, because that does mean that you're happy to be in the relationship, though it is a sign that maybe just a little clingy? Just a little?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, when my friend sends me text messages after I haven't talked with her in a while, I'm excited every time my phone buzzes because it's like, oh yay, we're gonna keep talking.
I mean, fair, but again,
we're having fun.
But again, this is a person who he is. This is a person who he's noted already wants to have the children's with him.
Yep. She is a yandere. Run!
Smitty in the chat.
Turn into a yangire.
Smitty in the chat. First I woke up, then I made toast. If I got a message on my phone that said, I just made toast from any of my partners, the first question I would have is not, oh, are they going to tell me everything about their day? It's, hey, are you going to make me toast too? I would like some toast. I like toast.
But where is the food?
The food is here.
Yay.
This is, I if you can tell, this is fried rice and General Tso's chicken, but I've also doused it with copious amounts of hot oil. And the shop that I get hot oil from here, the oil itself, while not the spiciest thing in the world, is one of the things that makes you regret the very next day more so than most hot sauces I've ever had. So yeah. Yeah,
you already lost me with like the hot oils. It's just like, I've got Crohn's disease. I can't.
Oh yeah, no hot. Well, see, so some people can.
I can't though.
I know. My friend, or not my friend, one of my managers, I guess I was friendly with him. He actually bred ghost peppers, and he had Crohn's disease. So like, either he bred them just for the fun of it and didn't consume them, or he was ready and willing to sacrifice anything for those peppers. And I get it, capsicum's addictive. I understand, but
capsicum? Oh, that's the chemical in them.
Yeah, that's the chemical that makes spicy things spicy.
Right.
All right, continuing on.
Okay. How will he tell me he loves me next? Well, I mean, I actually found different ways to say it in different languages. Like, started out with Spanish with me telling, again, my ex, like, te adoro, which is one of the nicest ways to tell someone that you love them, like, in a romantic capacity. It literally translates out to I adore you. And then I found a way to do it in Japanese. I don't remember how to say it, but I did remember how to write it. But I mean, at least you're putting in effort into telling somebody that you love them.
Yeah, I'm very boring in that regard. I just say I love you, but I'm also usually working, so like,
yeah. When will he propose? Run!
A few weeks in. Away. When is he gonna give me my ring?
When is he gonna put a baby in me?
Like, no, that is a bit soon, my dude.
I mean, my parents are going like, no, don't dye your hair goth. It's like, don't dye your hair black. You're gonna look like a goth.
So what if I was born with black hair?
No, I mean, like, for me, with, like, the hair change to a just, like, black and go like, you already act like one. What if you start looking like one? Who's gonna put a baby in you?
If your parents are wondering, so much about who's going to put a baby in you, then please tell them to get out of your bedroom.
Yeah. It's like, Mom, Dad, stop. I'm like 22.
I'm 27 and I still don't have children, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
I know, but it's just like, I'm not ready for this. It's like, she wonders, if he went several hours without texting her, she would text him to check and see how he was doing. Like a normal fucking person. I mean, like, if there's no response and it's been like 7 hours, it's just like, did something happen?
I mean,
is everything okay?
If you were in the middle of a conversation, I guess, but like at the same time, there's that part of me that sends a message, and then like if my partner doesn't respond, I just assume that they're asleep, and then that's just kind of where I sit. But then maybe that's just me.
Well, I mean, again, if my best friend doesn't respond within like 7 hours, she's like, okay, she probably got busy with something. I'll just text tomorrow and see if she's okay. Or if there was just like abrupt cutoff, is like, what just happened? Is everything okay?
Mr. Hot Pink Banana in the chat. Me comes out as trans man to my mother. My mother, but my non-existent grandchildren. Two things. One, there are many options available. Being a trans man does not mean that you also are, like, that you will not have children. I've actually seen many trans men who are, like, very far into HRT. They have full beard. Like, they are completely indistinguishable from a cis man, and yet are pregnant. Like, that's a thing that happens. Also, adoption exists, but, you know.
And if you don't want to have the baby yourself, but you still want it to have, like, your DNA and your partner's DNA, you can always get a surrogate.
Yeah, there's a lot of options available. And if, again, I guess it just bothers me when, like, a thing that you can't control, because you can't control being trans. That's you. That's your identity. That's not a thing that you get a say in. But that's a threat to their ability to have grandchildren, apparently.
So if it's not like you physically carried it, it's not yours? So tell that to my abuela, who, after having, like, 5 children of her own, like, that were her biological children, went on to adopt a baby.
German visitor says, hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger was pregnant once.
Oh, right. Don't remind me of that movie. Oh, God.
I haven't seen that movie. I don't actually
it's
know
called Junior, and there's this one scene that gave me nightmares.
Oh.
Because the baby comes out with his face. And he goes like, no. It's like screams into the camera, and it's just like,
You seem to be visibly
Save me,
cringing.
Oswald.
Gainer.
That's like, save me, Oswald.
Gainer. Hey, Mom. I don't owe you a child. Get out of here.
Yeah. You go, Gainer.
Alright, continuing on.
With each date she went on with him, she was more impressed with his character and godliness more than ever. Doubt. Pressing X to doubt.
Hold on, where is it? I'm doing it.
I'm gonna do it too.
Hold on, I gotta do this, and I have to press X to doubt on multiple controllers. Hold on, I got another one. One sec. There we go. How many controllers can we X to doubt on at the same time? Ah, that one just dropped. The Wiimote doesn't have an X button.
This is a Switch controller.
Oh, it's a Joy-Con. It looked like a Wiimote, not a Joy-Con.
It's a Joy-Con.
I'm suddenly...
It's like...
God damn it, I guess I have to get my Switch out as well. So I can press X on that one too.
Ah, fuck.
There we go. I'll press X on both Joy-Cons, except it's an up sign on the other ones.
Yeah, I know. I just
Smitty's-
dropped mine.
Smitty says Wiimotes aren't controllers. Tell that to my Metroid Other M enjoying ass. Sorry, Other M is not a horrible game. It's just also not a good game.
Yep.
This guy
Yeah.
says, how many red Wiimotes have you seen? Actually, a lot. There are red-colored Wiimotes that
There are
have the...
off-party ones.
There's not just that, but there's the red-colored Wiimote that is a Mario-inspired one that has, like, the M signal in white, and the Wiimote is red. Like, there's a good few red Wiimotes.
As well as off-brand third-party ones.
The Raillock says, if that's a Switch controller, why do I still have free will? Duck says, we can debate that all day, but you're valid. Look, Duck,
We would like to play.
Other M is a competently made game with at least a serviceable story in its original language, but it is not a good. But it is not a good game. It's just not a. It's not the horrible game that people want to say it is. Now, is it really bad for the story of Metroid? Abso-fucking-lutely. Samus's daddy issues with Adam need to go out the fucking window. But the game, while playing, is at the very least enjoyable once, which is more than I can say for some games. Looking at you, Arkwright.
Sorry.
What? Hold on. I just...
Oh, I'm so sorry. Condolences. That reminds me, there was like a Project Solaris that someone was actually trying to do a total like control and graphical overhaul of 06 and actually do it better.
Yeah, they've actually got Kingdom Valley done, and it's apparently really serviceable.
Awesome. All right.
All right,
Enough fun shit. Let's
go back
into
to
the stuff
B.G.R.
that makes me want to tear my hair out.
Also,
Okay.
sorry, Axianachrist says, I disagree, but I'm biased against the 3D titles. 3D titles for Metroid or 3D titles for Sonic? Because there's split camps for both.
Yeah.
All right,
He
continue.
knows the Bible so well and loves the Lord. This is a man who could lead me.
I'm just going to beat myself with a Book of Mormon. Hold on.
I'll go get my own.
If nobody
Book of
asked why
Mormon,
I just
but
have all
different
this
book.
shit lying around my desk.
It's your work desk.
It is. So I have props around it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna beat myself with first my ESV Bible that I used for school.
Elusive Entity, why do I have a Book of Mormon? Because they gave it to me. They're Mormons. They give them out for free.
And I can also beat myself with this because it's bigger and thicker. Yep. Ow. Nice artwork, but ow.
Also, Shalasai, I'm sorry, but I have to ban you from the chat now.
What?
They said that, edgy opinion, I kind of like Shadow the Hedgehog. You know, sorry. But
It can be stupid fun sometimes.
I even disagree with
If
that.
you don't take it seriously at all.
There's nothing fun about hunt down 50 enemies in the linear level. And
Yeah.
some of them are hiding.
I know. I mean, I did never play it with like a lot of serious intent. I just kind of like.
Let's
I
make
kind of love the idea of him slipping around like there's a puddle of like he's walking on a puddle of gravy on the kitchen floor.
What's the
Behold,
worst?
I am the ultimate- Whoop!
What was the worst part about Sonic Heroes? Team Chaotix. Let's make an entire game about it.
Hooray! I need to use these bookmarks. But okay.
Okay, continuing on.
All right. But like, man who could lead me. This is a man who could be my husband and the father of my children.
This is a man who I would be proud to serve as his helpmeet. Oh my god.
Oh fuck! I hate that phrase. I hate it so much.
Does everybody here know what a helpmeet is? It's a companion that's a husband or a wife. However, if we're going strictly into like Old Testament definitions, there's a little more implied by it than just that, because marriage was not unlike a type of slavery back then.
Oh, he actually put out an article like the 8 differences between wives and slaves, and they were so fucking pedantic. Because it's just like, oh, well, a wife can be divorced from, but a slave has to be sold. It's like...
Wait. His argument is that a slave has to be sold? Doesn't he have apologetics about, like, the slavery in the Bible, saying that, well, the difference is they could earn their way out of it and divorce themselves from their masters? Wait. Consistency, B.G.R. It's not hard for everyone else.
Yeah, it's hard for you to hold more than one thought in your brain at one time, I'm convinced. Can you chew gum and walk at the same time? This is what she thought, and this is a lie. Jonathan knows it will be 2 years before he graduates from college. Wait. Don't these people usually hate college?
He's getting a pastoral degree, though.
Ah. But still, why would there be women at this college? Because shouldn't women know their place and know that it's in the house, not educated past, like, 7th grade?
Well, he doesn't exactly say that... I don't think it says specifically that she's in the college.
Didn't it say that he met her while he was at the college and asked her out in the library?
Fair enough.
Yeah. With his pastoral degree, and then he can being looking.
He can being looking.
But JC the Hyena is a better writer. I'm sorry. I feel bad when I have to give compliments to people who are actually legit pedos. Because he had a sexual roleplay with a boy on Discord who he found out over the course of the RP was 14, and he continued. He's 25.
That's a bit gross.
It's very gross. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. I had to put the face up so I could eat real quick.
He, like, with his pastor... Okay. I'm looking for his first ministry as a youth pastor. Can I just derail for a second? I really do not like a lot of youth pastors that I've met. Because, like, the one at the church I went to was kind of a horrible person. Because, I mean, like, he would have us play all these games where usually I would get hurt. And he would get on me later when I didn't want to participate. He's like, oh, don't be such a spoil sport. It's like, no. I get hurt every time I play.
Yeah, if you're getting injured, it's more like, yeah, I don't want to... I'm
going to get hurt.
I'm going to be incredibly vague for people in the chat. But it is almost like if you are engaging in an action that injures someone and that person did not like it, perhaps they had to go to the hospital at one point because of this action. If that happens, it's on you, and it's your problem. And I'm being vague for a reason.
Like, Shadowshi, my dude, my bro, my friend-aroni, I have read My Immortal all the way through. This is hurting me more. And I know the pain. You can check it on my channel, it's already there.
Oh yeah, that's right, that is the thing that you've been reading, isn't it?
Yeah, I finished it.
Fun is infinite with Sega, everybody.
Yeah. And that and the youth pastor that I was more familiar with actually cheated on his wife and also caused, like, with a lady who was also cheating on her husband. Both parties got divorced. And, yeah, I can hear the music.
But he's a godly man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's such a godly man, and he's perfect to lead our kids. Cheat on your wife with another lady, break up 2 families, and don't express any remorse about it. And also be a total dick to the person that gets hurt every time she's forced to play one of your games at her senior send-off by trying to embarrass her because she's shy. Fuck you.
Sounds like a bad person.
He is. I really didn't like him.
Mr. Hot Pink Banana. Cirrus, do you want me to have nightmares?
He did not have any altar boys, as far as I know. I hope there were none. Anyway, he believes a man must be able to provide for his wife, as Christ provides for the church, before he can marry her. He wonders how soon he should propose, knowing it would be some time before they can marry. You sound too much like the mindset that my ex-boyfriend came from, where he's like, oh, well, I can't support you. When I'm just like, well, we can't date. And it's like, oh, well, I can't support you. It's like, this isn't marriage. We're just dating.
Yeah, and even when you like get together, there's nothing wrong if you guys do decide, not you guys specifically, but you guys as in insert hypothetical possible couple here. There's nothing wrong with the woman providing and the man like working around the house.
Yeah, and besides, it's way harder to do like any sort of single income household anymore since the cost of living has gone up.
Yeah, the cost of living, like even here. Granted, YouTube's been slashing my funds, so it's not like I can say that. Oh yeah, no, the cost of living here is high enough to where I have a hard time doing it alone. So like it's typically me and also Aaron who are bringing in income, and then Raz manages the Discord and other things, so she's also managing part of the channel itself. So I receive a decent bit of help in keeping this house afloat.
Oh, thank you, Troy. Sorry, Tony. Excuse me, my eyes had to adjust. For like trying to get me more subscribers. Thank you. One of those people that has already subscribed to me is actually Mr. Creepypasta.
Mr. Creepypasta subscribed to you?
Yeah. I met him at MomoCon.
I almost met him. I was with an ex at Comic-Con in Alabama, and I almost got to meet him there because he was part of a panel, or he was the panel, not he was part of a panel. He had his own panel there. The problem is that the person I was with, we had to get back to her dorm at midnight, and midnight of the convention was actually when Mr. Creepypasta had his panel, because of course it's the Creepypasta panel. So there was like that conflict of interest of, do we sleep in the car and get to have this panel, or do we get to be able to sleep in a bed? Sleeping in a bed sounds good.
Yeah. Plus, it's like, I actually didn't meet him at a panel. I was actually at a booth that he had at MomoCon. And it was like earlier in the day when there weren't a lot of people around, so he was able to engage with people one-on-one. So we actually had a bit of a chat. And he was really very nice.
He doesn't strike me as somebody who I would be adverse to actually speaking with. The next time that MomoCon happens here, I need to actually save up the money to go. Because that's a thing that I want to do. Oh, that reminds me. When is Anime Weekend Atlanta happening? I need to check that out real quick.
But yeah, I was mostly wanting to meet up with my cousin and her fiance because I wanted to show some support for the first person in my family to be actually openly LGBT. Because like before, my parents are just like, oh, she's gonna marry this guy, and then they find out that she's engaged to a woman, and they're like, sin. But when I found out, I actually sent her a text message like, hey, congratulations on your engagement, with like the engagement ring emoji as well as the two girls holding hands emoji. It's like, hey, congratulations. I'm very happy for you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm not a bigot.
It's just like, thanks. And then I continued on with like, what's her name? It's like, what's her name? What's she like?
So I've suddenly seen that the Anime Weekend Atlanta is October 31st through November 3rd.
Oh.
And also
Halloween.
my secondary channel artist, primary is obviously Emmett Gaelic Knox. Secondary is Tide of Turning Tide Studios, who actually has a webtoon as well. But she actually is going to be part of Artist Alley this time at Anime Weekend Atlanta. So I'm going to see if I can get enough money between now and then to actually attend Anime Weekend Atlanta this year. It'll be my first time attending, and I would like to do that because that would be good. But that's going to be...
It'd be cool if I could.
What is that going to be? $240? Because it's $80 for the 4-day membership, and I have to afford it for me, Raz, and Aaron. So if I can somehow save that up between now and then we will be able to go. And if anybody is going to Anime Weekend Atlanta, let me know. And if I'm able to go, then we can all meet up and do a thing there. But I have to be able to afford it first.
Well, I mean, I'd like to. I don't know, because I think we were probably doing something on Halloween, and I think we were going to try and observe Dia de los Muertos this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's for my abuela and my grandma. And all those who died. We haven't really done it before, but it's just like, you know what? It's like, you know what? We should probably celebrate our heritage as sometime other than Christmas with our dinner, which is instead of a turkey, we have a Cuban pork roast. Where we marinated it in orange juice and all these other spices, and then we serve it with black beans and rice that have been served with bell peppers. That's our Christmas dinner.
You had me up until the bell peppers. Not the biggest fan of bell peppers.
The bell peppers is what they're cooked with and cooked in.
Oh.
You don't have to eat them.
Fair enough. They're just there to add the flavor.
Yes, and it is delicious.
So somebody mentioned before, somebody mentioned earlier on, what was it? Sorry, my brain is blanking. It was 50 Shades of Grey, but read in the stereotypical trailer voice. So I actually have a friend of mine who can do the stereotypical trailer voice very well. He actually has a demo reel and everything. So I've actually just sent him a question. If he could send me a thing real quick, any snippet from 50 Shades of Grey read in the stereotypical trailer voice. So there is that.
All right.
But
okay.
We will continue on. It's my turn next. So let me grab us here.
Sorry, chat.
Hold on. Let me let him know that we're live.
We're streaming.
Yeah, that way he knows what it's for and everything. Hold on.
It's not just for kicks.
Sorry, I have to do the typing thing real quick. There we go. Boom. Ashley in the chat, Aliakai in the chat knows exactly who I'm talking about. It is Wolven. He does that voice incredibly well. So, and I'd like to get him exposed to more people who could potentially commission him for work, because he does do and deserves to be in more projects. So there's that. So hopefully this will help him get some exposure in that regard, if he is available to do this. He just woke up literally 10 minutes ago. Okay.
Oh.
So one day he decides to take the plunge, and even though it will still be roughly 2 years before he graduates and gets his ministry job, he's going to pledge his undying love and devotion to her, and the fact that he wants to marry Sarah when the time is right in a little over 2 years. Jonathan takes it.
Wait a second. That sentence. It's and the fact that he wants to marry, he's going to pledge his undying love and devotion to her, and the fact that he wants to marry Sarah when the time is right in a little over 2 years.
Oh, he just...
That sounds incomplete.
It sounds like they were two separate sentences that he mashed together with an and neither sentence... it's that first half of one sentence and the middle part of another sentence, and he just smashed them together with an and instead of a semicolon.
Yeah, and it's just someone would go ew, plunge. Well, I wasn't going to do it, but now I am. Giggity.
He wants to plunge, just so everybody knows.
He wants to smash.
Here is a bottle of Tabasco sauce. There's some lovely sound effects for everybody there. Alrighty. He's got an editor, everybody. Remember that. He has an editor.
I believe that editor is about as real as fairies.
Yeah. Also,
that you would obviously balk at and laugh.
Also, Renita has 7 more subs till 200. Could we maybe fix that? The link is in the description. So
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Jonathan takes Sarah to the nicest restaurant he can afford, based on his pay as a cook at a local restaurant. The ring he bought was only $200. That's all he could afford.
That's pretty good for a ring.
That's a pretty expensive ring. You don't need I'm sorry, but you don't need a diamond ring. That's literally the idea that you need a diamond ring that is worth a certain amount of your paychecks is actually propaganda that was marketed to you from a diamond company. So,
Yeah,
no.
I'm going to red pilling on diamonds. They're not as valuable as you think they are.
No, they're not. In any way, shape,
They're
or
actually
form.
quite abundant.
He gives it
However,
to her.
an Alexandrite, though.
He gives it to her and asks her to marry him. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and point out right now, this is a thing you can do with innuendo. Allow me a moment.
X gonna give it to you?
Well, there's that. The Resident Evil 2 fan in me is currently
If it's
squealing.
the X that I'm thinking of, then yeah, that's gonna leave a mark. What's it gonna rock?
So, everybody in the stream, and Renita, you're going to be able to see it on here.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody in the stream, just remember that this is what... this is how you write innuendo, just so you know.
He gives it to her.
You don't just blatantly say things like vagina. I just snipped this straight from B.G.R's blog. This is also an example of why quote mining is a problem.
Yep. I was actually going to display a few things. Like, this ring here was given to me by my parents for graduating high school. It is not an amethyst, as you might think it is. It's actually something known as an alexandrite. Meaning, like, it has a color change. In this incandescent light, it's a purplish red. Mm-hmm. However, when I turn the lights off and you have natural lighting on it, it's green. 100% color shift alexandrites are very, very expensive. However, I got this from Jewelry TV for not very much. However, this one, though, is more valuable because it is, like, old diamonds that have been set in like this. And this was given to me by my grandmother in her will. So if I was ever in, like, the hugest financial pinch in my life, if I had, like, the temerity to sell this, then I would be able to at least live for a while. However, since it is not really mine and it belonged to someone else before me, I would never sell it. Speaking
of money, somebody just posted a comment on my stream where I was talking about Steven Crowder and Hunter Avallone. I just wanted to read this out real quick. You are desperate for money. How many ads are on this video? The answer, if that was like a 2-hour live stream, the answer is probably 10. Probably, considering that, it's 2 hours of content, and that's no different than the amount of advertisements that you would have if you were watching something on television. Just throwing that out there. So it says, you're desperate for money. How many ads are on this video? Wow, it's almost like YouTube. Two things. A little bit of YouTube funny knowledge for everybody. YouTube actually recommends your videos more when there are more advertisements on them. Weird, but I actually had a video shoot up by 5,000 views when I added more advertisements on it, which means that I'm in this paradoxical state where, like, if I want to gain enough views to be substantial, the videos have to have enough advertising. That said, if you don't want to see the advertisements and you don't want to support me that way, that's cool. Just use an ad blocker. I don't care. Unless you're on mobile. Yeah, if you're on mobile, just get YouTube Red. Yeah. Like seriously, just grab YouTube Red. It lets the YouTube Music app play without having to keep the video on. And it lets you have, like, offline music and all kinds of neat shit. So, yeah, just get YouTube Red and stop. Just get YouTube Red and stop bitching. You're fine. If you can afford it. Yeah, if you can afford... Don't break the bank if you don't have to. If you can afford $10 a month, which most people can, because they usually have a streaming service of some kind, then, yeah, just get YouTube Red and stop bitching. Or just send you, like, I think the most acceptable form of, like, a nerdy statement of I love you. Like, if you've played Ocarina of Time... Not only is that the nerdiest statement for I love you, for those who don't know, it's actually the third mystical item that you have to get in Ocarina of Time. Given the circumstances in which that was given to Link, where she was literally like, take this thing, also marry me. Yeah, but she did say it was essentially the Zora's engagement ring. Yeah. All right, continuing on.
That's my point.
Jonathan takes Sarah to the... Okay, hold on. We're already past that. He gives it to her and asks her to marry him. He tells her, I know this ring is not much, but someday I will get you a much nicer one. She tells him, I don't care how much the ring costs. Of course I'll marry you. I love you. Yeah, that's the first sane thing this person has said or thought.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, like, that's... Like, I'll get you a much nicer one, like $200. If someone's willing to drop $200 worth of a ring on me, it's just like, you didn't have to. Even when, like, people go overseas or go somewhere I would want to be, they're like, oh, I'll get you a souvenir. It's like, no, you don't have to get me anything. Like, you can take pictures. That would be nice. But then they bring me something. It's like, you didn't have to do that. I very strictly tell people, like, don't break the bank. If you want to get anything, it doesn't have to be big. It can be, like, just tiny. I don't mind. It's just like, you're willing to do that. It's just like, I love you, but I hate you at the same time. Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, Sarah gives Jonathan the biggest kiss she's ever given him. Not just some peck on the lips. He takes her home to her dorm, and she is on cloud nine, and so is he. Sarah runs into her dorm and shares the wonderful news with all her girlfriends. I'm getting married. She can't sleep that night, and now begins to make real plans. So you didn't include what the friends had to say about this? Probably a good idea, let's be fair.
Yeah, because he can't write a normal person. He can't write one normal person. Don't ask him to write more than one.
Every character that he writes is a self-insert OC.
Yep, every character he writes is just like some cardboard cutout.
These are not just fantasies of her wedding and then their beautiful life together. They make real plans, not just... Okay, why is this hyphen there? What? No.
No, I guess it's there to clarify.
The hyphen is supposed... If you use the hyphen, there should be another hyphen to say that the hyphenated portion is closed, and then you close the sentence properly.
It's just a tiny aside.
A comma will do this just fine. You don't need a fucking hyphen. Holy shit. Why is this the thing? Why is this the thing that's getting on my nerves? Of all the things B.G.R. says and does, it is a hyphen that is getting under my skin. Why? Aaliyah Kai, in the chat. Aaliyah Kai is actually a published author. Aaliyah Kai, please. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right to be upset about this hyphen? Aaliyah Kai? Please, let me know. Let me know.
Please tell me as well. I'd like to improve my own writing.
I am so confused. While we wait for Aaliyah Kai to respond to my inane ramblings.
Holy shit, this is really shallow.
David says that it's an M dash, not a hyphen. Okay, fair enough. Am I still justified in being pissed though? Like
I would think so.
Like I feel as though I'm still justified in being upset at this thing's existence. So her father is a wealthy man and will be able to provide her and Jonathan with nothing but a first-class wedding. Her mother has
this is so shallow.
Her mother has many precious pieces of furniture just waiting to be hers, and the children they will have together, they will be so beautiful, and he will be such a wonderful father. He's gonna have some good old Aryan children. I mean, homegrown Christian children. Aaliyah Kai says, absolutely. It doesn't belong there. It wouldn't even work if he had closed it. M dashes are usually used for inserts that clarify a thought midstream. They do need to be closed. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Aaliyah Kai. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I thought that I was correct there, and I'm glad that I was. Okay. She can't wait for those 2 years to pass by so she can have the wedding of her dreams. The husband of her dreams. You barely know this man! How is he the husband of your dreams?
Oh, I guess the husband of her dreams is just some, like, cardboard cutout. Just, I am husband.
This is the guy, B.G.R., please, do us a favor. Go play some dating sims. Just, it sounds like a weird one.
Doki Doki.
I was actually going to suggest perhaps Doki Doki. He would, you know what, given the way he's written characters, he would love Monica.
Just Monica.
Just Monica. Okay.
Every day I imagine a future where I can be with
Do.
Like, better stop me now because I will do the whole thing.
The song is great. The
And when
song
he
is
gets into
wonderful.
this, when he proper gets into his own like inserts, I will just go off and sing Galactic Mermaid.
Six Rico says B.G.R. must play Honey Pop.
I don't know if he'd be able to handle himself.
Hold on. I'm typing a thing. It's very important.
Okie doke.
Yeah, we'll do that. Hello! That
Hello.
looks like pizza. Wait, why? No, I do not want it. It has... You melted American cheese on it, you monster! I don't want this! Why? Ah! Freaking Raz just hands me a pizza with American cheese melted on it. No.
Why you didn't throw it on your face first?
Ah!
The American cheese throw up cream.
No, no.
I
That's
just hit my
going over
finger.
there.
It's like I just hit the backs of my fingers on my pop filter. Okay.
Jesus. Tulpa D says, what is American cheese? Oh, no.
Let's no.
Have you ever been to McDonald's? That plasticky cheese they give you on your McDoubles, that's American cheese.
Mm-hmm.
It's, granted, there are some American cheeses that are serviceable. Boar's Head actually makes an American cheese that is not just like cheese product. But no, this is,
Exactly.
This one is a silly thing.
Okay.
Pre-recorded. Oh. Wolven has responded and he said, pick some lines and I'm ready to go. Oh no. Oh
So
dear.
can we continue?
Hold on 1 second.
Mm.
I have to find some lewd lines from 50 Shades of Grey. But before... So, while I look those up, I will continue. She also thinks to herself, but she also thinks to herself, but I want...
However, she also thinks to herself.
Wait a minute, the M dash is here again.
Ugh.
Use a comma!
You are an editor's nightmare, Larry.
But I want to enjoy our engagement time together. Also, don't start a sentence with but. Don't ever start a sentence with but! I want to enjoy our engagement time together before we're married, and I don't want the special time we share now before we're married to be gone too quickly. Okay, look. Real talk. Real talk.
That's why you don't rush into an engagement.
There is, functionally, aside from a single piece of paper, no difference between non-married life and married life, especially if you two are already cohabitating. Functionally, nothing changes, except like how you file your taxes and whether or not the threat of divorce has financial implications. Aside from that, there's no difference. So this like weird divide between engagement and marriage and shit is artificial as all hell. Okay. Continuing on. Oh, what?
Especially if y'all have like split bank accounts, like you should.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, have two split bank accounts, and then maybe have a shared bank account where like the bill money goes into.
Yeah.
But otherwise, please have split bank accounts. Financial abuse happens. It's not a. Aaron can tell you. When Jonathan gets back to his dorm, he also shares the wonderful news with his friends. She accepted. Of course she did, you louse. Like Sarah, Jonathan Like Sarah
this
Jonathan,
new character, Sarah Jonathan.
comma, my dude. Like Sarah, comma, Jonathan can't sleep that night either. Except the reason he can't sleep is very different than Sarah's. Jonathan is thinking about the passionate kiss Sarah gave him when she accepted his marriage proposal, and how, in his heart, he wanted so much more. He wanted some cooch.
Okay, let's get to like the really toxic part of this. B.G.R is like pretending that women before they are married, and they like before they're married, of course, because it's a good Christian boy. Before they're married, they're completely asexual until they get married, and at which point they're only sexual toward their husband. What, do you think that she didn't want more too, but was just not ready to go forward?
Hold on. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh no, I've gone dark.
I have. That's because I have a program called Lightshot, and it allows me to take screenshots very quickly and of isolated portions of my screen. So, for instance, you can see this on your screen. The stream can't see it. But I can actually take a screenshot by hitting print screen and then immediately paste it in like that without having to actually like go into an editor or anything.
Wait, you have an ebook of 50 Shades?
Oh, no, this is not from an ebook. This is from... Hold on. Let me see here. Oh my god, these are... Okay, I think these are the ones. These are the ones I'm going to go with. We'll go with these ones. These are absolutely horrible. All right, we're going to have these very soon. Aaliyah Kai. Oh my god, no! Aaliyah Kai!
What?
Aaliyah Kai has sent me some lines as well. Should I know exactly what to choose? Oh god. Oh god. So yeah, this is what I see. I literally just do that. Click, click, boom.
Oh no.
Light Shot's a wonderful print. Send me... She's a monster. There we go. Okay, so you guys are going to get what you want. You're going to get the stereotypical trailer voice reading 50 Shades of Grey. I hope you guys are ready for the amount of torture that I have just now subjected you to. Okay. All right. Let's continue with the silliness. Jex the Dragon says, can someone also donate some brain cells to me? Sorry, Jex. I don't have any to donate to you. I am what
I
they
don't
call...
have any to spare.
I am what they call an idiot. I don't have any brain cells, much less some to spare. So, he can't stop thinking about her breasts and the curve of her hips. He can stop thinking... Her tight rear end looked... Okay. Hold up.
I thought I was going to be going a darker path of like, how sexy and tight.
Okay, so let's run over some things. First of all, if he knows her rear end is tight, he can't stop thinking about the rear end because he's already fucking penetrated it. Okay? If you're looking to use the word toned, then maybe...
Or firm,
or like literally any... Well, firm would assume that he's felt it as well.
No, I mean like the firmness of the muscle, essentially.
Okay, fair enough. I when I think of firm,
kind of
I think of a texture more so than anything. Something that he would have had to grip to find out. And he's a good Christian boy. He shouldn't do that.
Yes.
Taut. Oh, Ashley has brought up another one. Aaliyah Kai points out taut rear end would be good, but no, tight.
Yes, taut. That's a good one.
Tight rear end by itself implies to me that we're talking about a particular portion of the rear end, and that, hey, you know what? If you want to have sex there, you don't make babies, usually.
Well, yeah, if you do make babies, then it's not the right kind.
So TMI, we're going to get into a really TMI part of the conversation for everybody in the chat. If you do not want to listen to something incredibly lewd, then please deafen yourself for like 10 seconds. But there is always the freak accident where it drips down from one end into the other.
Oh, yeah, right.
But okay, that TMI portion out of the way.
I don't know. I've heard.
What?
I don't know. I've heard the euphemism for like having to poop was being like, "There's a brown baby in the butt oven, and I need to get it out."
Okay, so there's obviously that, but that was not where I was going. I'm sorry. If it weren't for the gutter, my mind would actually be homeless. So, I hope everybody understands that and is okay with that. All right. He imagines how beautiful her naked body would be and how soft her body would be to touch and how wonderful it would be to have sex with her.
Wait a second. He just said something about how tight it would be, so that wouldn't be really that soft. Would it?
Well, parts of her body could be soft, and then the ass
like the
could
thighs,
not be.
because apparently she works out her butt, but not her thighs.
Then he remembers it's going to be 2 long years. How will I make it through never touching her the way I long to touch her?
Wait, did you never meet your left or right hand?
just lefty loosey. Just there you go. Problem solved. This. You know what? I have a hammer for this. I have a hammer for this distinct. YouTube's going to demonetize me now, I know. But just right here. Here you go. This is how you'll handle it. This is how you'll manage. I'm dating somebody who is ace. I know what it's like to live in the relationship not having sex. It's hard, but it is not that hard, pun intended. Just you got it. Pornhub exists.
Or you could always read smut.
Or you could always go to dojins.com.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have options.
And hentai.
Well, dojins is hentai. It's just hentai in manga form.
Oh, I was saying and hentai.
Oh, and hentai. Oh, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get a virus, there's Lucius.
But yeah, it's just like, oh, it's going to be 2 long years before you can have sex. Oh, boo-hoo, you big baby.
But sir, Ashley says, but Cirrus, every time you jack off, God kills a kitten. You know what? I'm sorry. I am personally responsible for copious amounts of felinicide.
Me too.
Like,
I'm sorry,
David says, thank you so much for sharing that image. Nah, you're fine. You're fine. Somebody pinged me in general chat on my Discord, and I have no idea who. Okay, just so you guys know, never ping me in general chat on Discord. I will lose my ability to see. Okay, it was Raz who did it. Raz! Why? I lose track of things in general chat.
Darn it, Raz. I'm sorry. It's like, just kidding, Raz. You've been very nice every time we've talked.
All right. Continuing on. Let's see. He prays and asks the Lord to forgive him of his sensual thoughts about Sarah and resolves to keep his mind pure on things and not these impure sexual thoughts. Okay, again.
And just become a repressed mix of fuck.
Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria.
Sorry, but we're here again. We have to. I'm sorry, but every time I hear about that, just a little bit more. Every time B.G.R. writes about the need for pure thoughts, we're gonna play a little more of that song.
Mm-hmm.
We have to.
It's the best villain song.
I wish we could play more of it, but YouTube would demonetize me because apparently, even if only a minute of your video is copyrighted content, 2 and 3 hours of it immediately shovels all the money to whichever company owns the license for what you give. Yeah, to Disney, because Disney needs money.
They're trying to buy back Spider-Man. They need money.
YouTube pays me $500 to $600 a month, but Disney needs money.
Well, I mean, they're trying to buy back Spider-Man.
They already have the money to do it.
Yeah, I know. It's like, come on, Sony, please.
Over the next couple of dates with Sarah, Sarah has the wedding date topic on her mind, but she does not want to come on too fast. It's a bit late for that.
Mm-hmm.
About how
Plus, you guys have got to start planning at some point.
About it, so she exercises self-control and waits 3 more dates before finally popping the question to Jonathan. When do you think would be a good wedding date? Wait, let's have a question. Why is it too soon to pop the question, when should the wedding date be, but it wasn't too soon for the proposal?
Because B.G.R. is stupid.
I don't think B.G.R. actually understands how any of this works. If he did, then... God damn it. Hold on. And, of course, Emmett posts... Emmett links me, or not links, tags me in Discord in the general chat as well. You monsters. You absolute monsters. Trying to force me to do this stuff. Okay, so we actually have 2 bits of fan art that have been brought up. And, okay, so sorry, this thing's bad, but redesigned the troll sonas for Surus, because in the time since I posted, I've gotten a lot better at spriting. Okay, cool. So, I need to actually go to my thing here. I'm not as organized as I usually am, which is strange, considering that I'm usually not very organized at all. So that, stream. I swear if any of these say image 0, I'm going to be quite upset.
I think the problem with the image 0 thing is the fact that it's coming from someone's phone, and that Discord automatically does that.
Dude. Alright, so we have the first one, multiple Cirrus troll sonas that have hammers.
Oh, nice, Homestuck trolls.
Yup. And then...
Oh, if anyone was curious about that, I am wearing a Homestuck t-shirt.
Nice! That was from Gotta Go Fast, and we have one from Baphomet as well. And, of course, it's image 0. As you do. Rename your files!
Again, I think image 0 is that it's coming from someone's phone.
Fair. It's just... It does frustrate me that it does it so much. But we have... I am husband and happy. The comment about cardboard cutout husbands inspired this. They are literally cardboard cutouts.
No one's gonna make fan art of me, I can tell.
Well, we'll see. Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes.
Boom, boom, boom. All right.
Oh yeah, and had to clarify for people the Sarah Obscura thing you see is actually it's a reference to Fatal Frame.
Okay. Nora in the chat said, "Y'all ever just feel like image 0?" There.
Good luck finding anything after that.
There's my response to everybody. There's my response. If you're in the Discord, you will have seen my response to this. All right. That said, continuing.
I thought my response would be just like Vosh stare.
I actually do have the Vosh stare saved. Hold on.
Or I guess Wednesday Addams stare. So.
Here we go. For anybody who needs this in your life, whenever you need it, the best stare.
I don't know. For me, it's just like. Or apparently, orphan. Like,
that's the stare of disappointment.
Yeah. Because, like, I've been told I was told when that movie was new that I looked like the girl from Orphan.
I'm suddenly reminded that I have this. I just see it in my use in every vids folder.
Yeah,
and
the, like, Surus Undertale thing.
I completely forgot that's there. Okay.
Someone should make a mod of that.
I've derailed somewhat. Let me continue.
Sorry. Someone should make a mod of that.
Eventually, somebody should put it in Sand Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
She presents a calendar she printed out for 2 years in the future. Oh boy, if you've planned the next 2 years of your life day by day calendar-wise, I've got some news for you. That's scary.
You might be a little meticulous.
That calendar.
Still, it's like, I wonder if they mean maybe just like a calendar that's 2 years in the future. That's just like the dates that are present for that 2 years. Like you skipped 2 years and then you went to, like, let's say this year, you skipped to, like, okay, that'd be 2021. So you just printed out a 2021 calendar.
Which should at least be...
That's what I got from that.
It could be either or, but I've gotten so many yandere vibes already from this female character in the story that if I gave it that charitable read, it would be a disservice to the character he's so articulately written on cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I found this in my folder as well. I forget the circumstances in which this was created. But yeah, that's a thing that's in there. My use in every video folder has a lot of stuff that I surprisingly don't use in every video. So, the calendar reminds Jonathan that his agony will be prolonged another 2 years, but Jonathan gives his thoughts to God and helps Sarah pick out a wedding date. She is excited. They take a walk through a park, and Jonathan goes to give her a kiss, and as they embrace, he begins to move his hand down the small of her back to her bottom. Okay. Jared says to check Discord, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be checking in Discord. Oh. Ding dong. Soup's up. I hope you guys are ready for this. I sincerely hope you guys are ready for this. Okay. Gray line request 1 from my friend Wolven.
Before I know it, he's got both of my hands in one of his in a vice-like grip above my head, and he's pinning me to the wall using his hips. Holy shit. His other hand grabs my ponytail and he yanks down, bringing my face up, and his lips are on mine. It's only just not painful. I moan into his mouth, giving his tongue an opening. He takes full advantage, his tongue expertly exploring my mouth. I have never been kissed like this.
This is... Tony Designs in the chat. I don't know that man, but I will marry him right now. Oh my god, that is amazing. Jared says this is great. I could listen to this all day. On a Kadama, on a scale of 1 to gay, I give it Astolfo. Oh my god.
I give it Too Fast, Too Furious.
If you guys... I thought I gave... Wolven's like, I didn't get the link. I gave you the link. Scroll up, my dude. There we go. Oh my god, that is amazing. That is crazy. Good. Kadama says good time to plug that sex shop. You know what? You're not wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and do it right now.
If you get a little too hot and bothered.
If that narration caused you to feel some feelings, then remember that you can go to ddlgplayground.com. That is in my description. Use the coupon code SIRIS. You can get all kinds of stuff there. I have this pre-recorded thing that I took of me literally just like grabbing stuff from their store and throwing it into screen. Yes, that is a tiny squishy penis. So that's there. Anywho. Random plug, because YouTube doesn't pay me enough, and I like being able to consume food that is not ramen.
Yeah, ramen's good, but you need something else every once in a while.
Just every now and again. Elliot Kai in the chat, I want the happy little penis. He's so cute. Okay, so if you do...
Wait, what?
And Tony in the chat just said blushes. Hi, Wolven. Because Wolven just hopped into the chat after we listened. Wolven in the chat says, this voice actor is hilarious. I wish I had his voice. Yeah, I wonder what it's like to have Wolven's voice. Antoine says, TOS monetization. My channel skirts the line on TOS a lot. Catherine David says, I showed the ding ding to my aunt and we both want one. Well, if you guys want to get that stuff from their shop, it is there. Just please, if you are going to go there, link is in the description to it. Please use coupon code Cirrus so I can get a small kickback from it. Like that helps me. It makes it cheaper for you, and it allows me to survive off of more than ramen. So like, please and thank you. Okay. Plugs away. Sarah's shocked. How could he have just done that? She thinks, we were having a romantic evening, and we just picked out a wedding date, and now he has his hands on my butt. She's disappointed and mortified. Said no person ever. I want to marry this man. But he just tried. He just tried to get sexual with me.
Oh. It to me sounds like this person is not emotionally or mentally mature enough to even go through with this wedding.
It sounds like this person's made of cardboard.
And it's just some guy's cardboard cutout of I am wife.
I just noticed that after that we lost 40 viewers like that.
Oh no.
Holy shit, what did I do?
Sounds like they had some things to take care of.
I mean, if that's what happened. Oh my god. Oh my god. Speaking of that tiny penis,
I don't believe those. Oh.
Speaking of that tiny penis, I was just sent a thing.
Speaking of that tiny penis, B.G.R.
God damn it. Courtesy of Aliakai and apparently from Ocean First. Hold on.
Oh, I gotta...
Here we go.
Oh, no.
There we go. Now you can see it as well.
It was like it came in immediately over my face. Thanks.
I'm sorry. That's where it defaults them. I can't help it.
I know. I'm teasing. I'm being silly.
Alrighty. But in that moment, she realizes he is a sinner just like me, and I should forgive him.
Said no person ever.
This is... And then everybody clapped. Oh my god. She gently moves his hand off her bottom and back onto the small of her back. That is a thing that I could understand happening. If you're not in the mood, then yeah, removing the person's hand from the sexual zone back to the back, cool, that's fine. But like, the thoughts that went into that, I'm sorry. That's not a thing that happens with people all that often. This is a very and everybody clapped story. And you know what? Real Cirrus agrees.
Yes. Thank you, Real Cirrus. It's adorable.
Alright, and... Alright.
Sorry, I was
Your
just trying
turn.
to find a good... Oh, it's my turn.
Your turn,
right.
take over.
I was just trying to find a good image of this one character and I got mesmerized. Right.
You're thinking about those anime husbandos?
No, it's more like those video game waifus. Like I just got a good GIF. I'll show it. I'll show you. Okay, so there we go.
Oh dear.
Here you are.
I have not gotten it wherever you sent it. There it is.
It's a GIF. And that's the person that I want to, like, utterly destroy B.G.R. in a fight. Because she can.
Oh. Fair enough. She looks very much like Alexia. Not Alexia. Alexia's from Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Alexia Ash. She actually doesn't look that far from Alexia's monster form, come to think of it. But
well, I mean, she is a horseman of the apocalypse. So she'd have to be fortified and ready to kick some ass.
I can't remember. Oh, Alexstrasza. That's the one I was thinking of. I was like, she looks like Alexstrasza. There we go.
Mm-hmm. All right. After they kiss, she tells him, Jonathan, remember our commitment to the Lord and the fact that we want to follow his ways and wait for marriage, right? Wait a second. That you don't end with that. It's like, remember our commitment to the Lord, the fact that we want to follow his ways and wait for marriage. You remember, right? Or just like, Jonathan, we made a commitment.
You're just like, Jonathan, did you not forget the Lord our God? I know it's not a Bible. My Bible's
Jonathan,
over there.
Did you forget our commitment to the God of the Holy Bible?
You reach your hand down her back. You slowly, sensually move closer to her anus. And then finally, you feel something hard back there. What is that? You grip it with your hand and you pull it out. It's a Book of Mormon. You've been bamboozled by God again.
Aw, foiled again.
God damn it. Literally.
Exactly.
Okay.
Jonathan replies, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. It won't happen again.
Again, said no one ever.
But Jonathan knew exactly what was going through his mind. I want her so bad, even just to touch her bottom tonight. But you won't even go like touch her butt. You don't even have to use the word ass. You can just say butt.
You thought it was I, an ass, but it was me, the Book of Mormon. He is called Jonathan.
Yep.
You thought your first
the spiritual stones.
You thought your first grope would be Sarah, but it was I. Dio Book of Mormon. Oh my god.
Several weeks went by without incident. Sarah felt that Jonathan had a moment of weakness, but the problem was solved. Well, you didn't do anything about it, so obviously it wasn't. Then one night, as they kiss goodnight and embrace one another, Jonathan reaches up and feels her breast.
Show me where on the real Ceres he touched you. It's right here. It's right. Just went right under. Just poof.
For some reason, you sound like the Pony Mauve Pinkie Pie.
Oh god.
Sarah quickly pulls her hand back away and asks Jonathan, "Why did you do that? I thought we had an understanding." Jonathan begins to cry. I don't know what's wrong with me. What is wrong with me? Excuse me, I don't talk like a human. I am so sorry for what I did. I need to go.
Nani
also learned that.
I need to go. Sarah was worried about Jonathan. She texts him with no response all evening long, which we know is a trigger for her, as was noted earlier. Finally, the next morning, Jonathan texts Sarah back, "We need to call off the engagement, and we need to break up. It's not because you would not let me touch you or have sex with you. It's because I cannot control myself when I'm around you." Oh, you know what that means, everybody? You know what that means? We're back here again.
You know I'm so much purer than the common, vulgar, weak, licentious crowd. Then
I have to. Every time we get to those, we need the pure thoughts. We're gonna get more Frollo. We have to. And we don't get a lot of Frollo, because if I did, then Disney would take all my revenue, and that's not fair. Oh my lord.
Oh, it's even better because honestly, Jonathan just could have been called Jonathan Frollo.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry, one of my patrons just updated to a $20 patron, so we're trying to get their avatar set up.
Oh, wait. Sable Eagle was, then Sarah went to her friend Gemma, and they agreed that lustful men are more trouble than they're worth, and a girl knows what a girl wants and can give it to her without getting her pregnant. So men.
Pregante?
Yes, she cannot get pregonat.
Pregonat. How is Babby formed?
Pregante.
How is Babby formed? How girl get...
Yes. How is Babby formed?
Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
For those in the chat who have not seen it, this is an old there was an old trend where you would take really crappy Yahoo Answers posts. I guess now most people would use Quora. And you would voice over them, and it's wonderful. Here, have a listen. It's great.
How is Babby formed? How is Babby formed? How girl get pregnant? They need to do weigh in stain mother.
That's as far as I'm going to get into that, but just the how girl get pregnant. Just perfect.
But what if I'm pregnant?
Pregonant. Pregante.
There are 3 genders, male, female, and pregante.
Pregante, the third gender. Oh dear. Also,
elusive third.
According to Wolven in the chat, we are going to be receiving a few more of the 50 Shades of Grey lines. So, why is it so hard for me to... Oh! That explains it. That explains so much. There we go.
What?
I was trying to figure out why I couldn't actually roll up. I have a little carpet, like, right in front of where my feet are, because I have a linoleum floor otherwise. So, as I tried to move my chair up, it wouldn't go forward, and then I looked down and realized that the carpet was swallowing the wheels.
Well, my whole floor is carpet, so...
We used to have an all-carpet floor, but it's a bitch to clean when you've got 5 animals in the house. So...
I don't have any animals, so...
Well, we got to have the... We got to actually choose and design the things that happened with this house when it was being rebuilt, so we were just like, please don't give us carpet, whatever you do.
Yeah.
All right.
So...
And we've got more lines from Wolverine.
Show me how you pleasure yourselves.
Oh.
You don't want to see that. That'll get demonetized.
I am very wondering.
No, it's like the fact that it's kind of graphic, that's all. Nothing too out there.
What went wrong with our Christian dating story?
You wrote it.
Yeah, you're the one that wrote it. That's the problem. Was it a flaw in Jonathan's character that caused him to touch Sarah's bottom and on a later date her breast? Or was it a flaw in something else?
Yes, it was a flaw with Jonathan because he could not respect boundaries.
It was a flaw with Jonathan because he was a cardboard creation from B.G.R. and B.G.R. can't write worth a damn.
Yeah. Don't quit your day job, honey.
That said, couple things. One, let me go ahead and doot. I need to send a thing to Raz real quick now that I'm thinking about it. Doot.
Oh, that does remind me. I sent you that like creepypasta that was related to the other stream where he was like, "Oh, girls should marry when they're 12." Because I think that it's a suitably disturbing story, but I mean, it was related to the topic, and it's a comfort because it's only fiction.
It's only fiction, yet.
That one's only fiction.
Yeah. Okay, where are we right here?
The flaw with this Christian dating story was that B.G.R. wrote it between these two like pairs of pants that are these characters.
They're just self-insert. All of these characters are Twilight Sparkle from season 1 through 3.
Yep.
Sorry. For anybody who actually is a My Little Pony fan, pre-season 4 Twilight Sparkle is a cardboard cutout piece of absolute fucking garbage. Just
before lesson 0.
Just throwing that out there. I'm sorry if you're an NLP fan and you're a huge fan of Twilight Sparkle pre that time and thought that she actually had some sort of character. No, there's functionally no difference between her character in seasons 1 through 3 and Kirito in all of Sword Art Online.
Yeah. It actually hurts because when one of my friends was getting into it, she was like ascribing to like who is what pony in the friend group. I was reading a book when she was doing this and just like, you're Twilight.
And you're just like, please no!
I wasn't watching the show at the time, so I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, and now that you actually
then
have
I watched
seen it.
Him like,
now, when you realize that she's just pants.
Yeah. She is just a pair of pants.
Okay, cool.
And this is exactly why I'm dating an atheist. So.
Yeah. I am dating 2 of them, or 3 of them actually.
I know, it's like the last one was a Christian, this one's an atheist, and I'm way happier.
My brain was like, oh yeah, that's right. No, all of them are atheists. Technically, one of them calls themselves an apatheist strictly. So there's that. Also, we have another line from... First of all, in the chat, if you are enjoying the lines from Wolverine, press H. If you hate every second of these lines from Wolverine, then please press G. If I see a single G, I'm probably going to kick you. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Firstly, I don't make love. I fuck hard.
Sorry, I'm redoing that one.
Firstly, I don't make love. I fuck hard.
We have to do it again. The chat has an ever-increasing number of H's. That is a lot of H's. I'm gonna... So, there's normally a set of very H's that I would use here. Variations of very H. But seeing as we are...
Variations?
Yes. Sorry, I have to actually use my terrible jokes. But because... Hold on. We're just going to do that. Boom, boom. However, because I am going to say it 1,000 times over if I haven't already, YouTube is doing horrible things to monetization. I also found out apparently if you speak ill against Daddy YouTube, they will actually hit you very hard. So that's bad. Ooh. So YouTube, I actually love you very much. Don't hurt me more than you already have, you abusive lover. But we are very H. And yes, that hoodie does actually exist. This is a thing you can purchase from the merch store.
It's very pretty.
So, there's that. Random merch plug, but also very H. The chat is very H.
Uh-huh.
Tony Designs has requested Wolven to say that's a lot of H in a very sexy voice. The flaw in the entire...
I wonder what his rates are.
Ask him.
Okay.
I can get you guys in contact.
Ask him later.
The flaw in the entire concept of the flaw was in the entire concept of modern Christian dating. The flaw was not in Jonathan's desire for sexual intimacy with Sarah. Oh yeah, that's right, because this guy's pro-rape. The issue was...
wait a second, though. Like, hold on. Wait, so men cannot control themselves, so it's like you're trying to imply that they're animals, and yet women somehow do control themselves. So are you trying? So B.G.R. is essentially in his mindset thinking that men are not humans. So maybe that might be why he's overcompensating so hard.
Is that why he can't write human characters? He himself does not believe he's a human?
That might explain a lot of his grammar and syntax issues as well. He's just slamming on the keyboard with pause.
Aaliyah Kai sent me a thing that she wants the chat to see. Because it's very representative of what we're talking about right now. So I will go ahead and show everybody in the chat just so they know. There we are. The flaw.
Sounds good.
The flaw in Christian dating. Oh no, B.G.R's a furry. He can't type because he's in his fursuit. I would love to find out that B.G.R. stopped being able to type because he's perpetually in a fursuit. Because one, it would be ironic, because I'm pretty sure he dislikes furries, right? I don't think he has an article on furries, but if he does, please find it for me. Anybody in the chat, if you can find B.G.R. having an article on furries, I would love to dissect it. Because I have a lot of furries on my server that I have no problem defending. The flaw is being a fundy Christian. See, it was not even in the pleasure he received from thinking of her body or what it would be like to touch her or have sex with her. Of course that's not the flaw, B.G.R.
Wait, is that not committing adultery in your mind?
It's not for him, because remember, B.G.R. is very pro-rape.
Oh, right.
He's in.
But wait, didn't the Bible say, like, if you have lustful feelings for a woman in your heart, you have already sinned?
Yes, but it also says that if you pay 50 shekels of silver, then it's fine.
For your thought crime.
The flaw was with Jonathan being in that position in the first place. That sounds oddly like, well, Jonathan, what were you wearing?
Yes.
Being in that intimate relationship with that woman before he was married to her. Ah, yes, because B.G.R., as somebody who's been through a divorce, which you have made public knowledge, can you not tell us the problem with that whole, like, getting married without really being prepared for it? Is that a thing that you could tell us, please?
Also, it's like, I have a dad who's also gone through a divorce. And he did date my mom after he had divorced from his first wife, who was an abusive alcoholic. And he didn't really have these, like, oh, I need to break up with her because I want to have sex with her, but she's not my wife. It's more like, I can enjoy all the sex that we want when we're married. So I should wait because all good things are worth waiting for.
See, you think all good things are worth waiting for, but B.G.R. says that you just need to plunge in there, both figuratively and literally.
So I need to plunge into THQ Nordic and demand Darksiders Genesis right now.
You also need to plunge into Blizzard HQ and demand that we get the Warcraft 3 remaster right now.
Okay.
Please.
Because, I mean, I actually did order the Nephilim edition of Genesis.
Also, if you could do me a favor, please plunge into Game Freak of America and let them know that they are actually recycling the same animations no matter how many times they try to fucking lie to us.
Yep. I'd also like to plunge into Valve headquarters and demand Half-Life 3 and Portal 3.
Look. Those are never happening. You know that. I know that.
I do.
Half-Life 3 isn't happening.
It ain't real.
Nah. They are so scared of the number 3. They really are.
Yep. Even though technically Team Fortress 2 does count as Team Fortress 3 because it has existed in 2 other forms.
Oh dear.
And they just slapped a 2 on here.
You just hear 2.
None of their keyboards have a 3.
Half-Life 3 is a cake. Alright. I have attended conservative Baptist churches for most of my life. I still attend a conservative Baptist church. I wonder if he's a NIFB. Anybody in the chat?
I wouldn't be surprised
if you think B.G.R. is a NIFB, because, like, let's be fair.
Give us an H.
Give us an H. Please. H if you think B.G.R. is a NIFB. And G if you're lying to yourself.
How much do you want to bet that he has a docky of Steven Anderson?
He has a little Steven Anderson plush that he holds on to every now and again. He's just like, oh, Anderson Senpai, please stand up on my podium.
It's like Anderson Senpai. Notice.
I'm hearing a lot of shuffling. So I'm hearing a lot of shuffling. I think the microphone you're using is the one through your headphones and not your actual this mic.
Hold on. Yeah. There we go.
Aha! Oh, wow.
Better?
Holy shit, your sound quality just jumped so much.
Whoa. And the volume just jumped a lot. Is this better?
Yes.
Awesome.
We no longer have scratchy. I don't know why I didn't catch on to that like the quality of the mic was like really low. I don't know why that didn't even the chat is just like, "Oh wow, that is so much better."
I'm sorry.
I have no idea how I didn't catch on to that.
I don't know how I didn't either. I'm disappointed in myself.
There's an entire stream on Steve McRae's channel where I'm arguing with Deconverted Man about gender, and I'm using my camera microphone instead of my Yeti. And even after Godless Cranium yelled at me in the live chat, Cirrus, you're a YouTuber, use an actual damn microphone, I didn't clue into the fact that I wasn't using the correct mic the entire time. So trust me, it's not just you. I've had this happen as well. So, I admire Bible.
I'm sorry, chat.
I admire Bible-believing churches of all Christian denominations. Oh, including Catholic? I hope so.
No, he says Catholic is bad.
I also agree with many of my Bible-believing Christian brethren that God designed sexual relations between a man and a woman to be kept strictly within the bounds of marriage. B.G.R., you would hate me. You would hate me a lot. My life is an example of things that you just absolutely despise. I'm sorry.
You hate me a little bit less. Just
True, but
I
yours...
haven't engaged in that yet.
About to say, yours is also long distance, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Which would explain why that... Look, I live with two of mine. I have an excuse.
And also, it's like, again, slightly nervous about that.
Yeah, you have reasons for that.
Yep.
Jack and Quill has let me know that he's at work and he's just listening, but he's here, which is good because Jack and Quill's one of my favorite people. They're actually the ones.
Jack and Quill, thank you for being here.
He is the one that designed the Steven Anderson is gay thumbnail.
Yep, I know.
All right. That said, we have two more lines from Wolvern. So, let us start with the first one.
Sitting beside me, he gently pulls my sweatpants down, up and down like a horse's drawers. My subconscious remarks bitterly. In my head, I tell her where to go. Christian squirts baby oil into his hand and then rubs my behind with careful tenderness. From makeup remover to soothing balm for a spanked ass. Who would have thought it was such a versatile liquid?
I don't know, just gonna say this, like, if he tries to, like, if my boyfriend was gonna spank me, I'd probably end up crying. Because, that's how I was punished when I was a kid.
Fair, but... JK Feather Ranch just says no. I'm sorry, but there is one more from Wolven. One more that you guys all have to listen to.
One more.
Your mind, no, Anastasia, but your body, that I've got to know quite well since yesterday. His voice is suggestive. How does he switch so quickly from one mood to the next?
Because he's got a mental problem.
Yeah, because he's actually psychotic.
Like he's like Christian Grey has a lot of psychoses that are problematic, and it's, if you look at the actual style of BDSM relationship that he engages in, he hands the protagonist a novel to look at, a novel that is actually their agreement. This is like there's so fun fact for people who aren't familiar with BDSM culture, there actually are contracts that you might have with a dom, right? These contracts are usually a page or two in length, maybe 3. He hands her a fucking like stacks of information that nobody would read.
Oh, Dragon Lord, like, well, I don't know what BTSM, but I know that BDSM is like, I think it was bondage, dominant, submissive, like submissive, like or if not sadism and masochism.
Yeah, bondage, domination, and sadomasochism.
Yep. Though I think a sadomasochist is somebody that can enjoy, that is essentially the switch of that part where they can enjoy both giving and receiving.
Yes, a sadomasochist can actually really enjoy having a sub who is a brat, for instance, and fights back, because the pain that he receives from that fight will actually also increase his sexual tension and abilities there. That said, that's getting into TMI stuff. This is getting a little too personal. I'm going to continue with Wolverine's lovely readings.
He's so mercurial. It's hard to keep up. He motions for the waitress and asks for the check. Once he's paid, he stands and holds out his hand. Come. Taking my hand in his, he leads me back to the car. This contact, flesh to flesh, it's what is so unexpected from him.
It's literally just holding hands.
I've never felt... I don't think I would ever describe hand-holding as disgusting before, but...
It's flesh to flesh.
Gross.
Normal. Intimate. I can't reconcile this ordinary, tender gesture with what he wants to do in that room.
It's 'cause you're in public, you doofus! Of course it's different! Jesus! I'm sorry, 50 Shades of Grey is written... 50 Shades of Grey reads like it was written by a virgin.
Yeah. Honestly, my best friend, she's a virgin. She writes better smut than this. Like, she doesn't even put in a lot of explicit details. But she does know how to make it sound... Like, she does know the, implicity of the language and how to make it sound really good, as well as just, very intense blushing. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
A,
Also,
how did you write this? B,
Also, Yay in the chat says psychotic just means suffering from hallucinations, delusions, or disorganized thinking behavior. It doesn't make someone a bad person. You're right. I'm not saying that somebody's a bad person.
no,
literally,
but he is a psychopath.
Literally, I am dating somebody who has ASPD. ASPD is the DSM-5's recognition of what we originally called psychopathic or sociopathic. Those are no longer actually...
Social personality disorder?
Yes. Sociopathic and psychopathic
they're not monsters.
are no longer actually in the DSM. We now just put them in a spectrum of ASPD. As somebody who has been living with someone with ASPD for 3 years, I can attest that somebody being a sociopath or a psychopath does not automatically make them a bad person in any way, shape, or form.
It just depends on their violent tendencies and whether or not they want to control themselves or even will get help.
Correct. Or even if they don't want to get help, if they just simply recognize that this is a thing they have and they know how to comport themselves with people around them, then it's fine. Mm-hmm. It's honestly, and I also received an email from them earlier, and I probably should have mentioned it then as well. But yeah, no, just because I say somebody is psychotic, I'm not trying to say that means that this is automatically a bad thing. But if somebody is a bad person and also psychotic, then the ability for them to restrain themselves is going to go down. Just a little bit. But they have to also be kind of a horrible person first.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Room of Pain. We are quiet on the drive from Olympia to Vancouver.
I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. As somebody who reads creepypastas, Red Room means something completely different to me.
Yeah, I immediately jumped there as well.
Yeah.
It's like, Red Room, you don't want to be there.
Both lost in our own thoughts. When he parks outside my apartment, it's 5 in the evening. The lights are on. Kate is at home, packing, no doubt, unless Elliot is still there. He switches off the engine, and I realize I'm going to have to leave him. Do you want to come in? I ask. I don't want him to go. I want to prolong our time together.
All right, and that is the last of the lines from Wolven. As you guys wanted the stereotypical trailer voice reading 50 Shades of Grey, and that's what you got. You guys got it. You monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Where are we now? He believes that emotional intimacy between a man and a woman should also be kept within the bounds of marriage. Let's see. How much of this article do we still have? Oh, god damn it. B.G.R. No, B.G.R. Why do we have so much of your crap to get through?
Alright, well, let's just try and muscle through it, I guess.
I think we'll probably only get another 5-ish minutes out of it. I know we can't muscle through the entire thing in 5 minutes, but that's as much time as I'm willing to lend to B.G.R. to continue.
Yeah, I think I'm available next Monday as well.
if we want to continue on with this, then that is a thing that we can do. But he says that Christian dating meets most of the needs of women in an intimate relationship and meets very few of the needs of a man in an intimate relationship. God never designed relationships between men and women to be a half measure like this. Okay. Just wank off. It's not hard. Just...
Like, if the girl can open the escape hatch, then I think that the guy can do a pole polish if he wants to.
Just, seriously, go to www.baddragon.com. You'll find a way to handle yourself, I'm sure. Like, this whole thing, it's also assuming, right? This is assuming automatically that women do not also have a sexual need in a relationship, which...
That was like the thing I was saying earlier. Like how he acts like women are totally asexual until they get married.
Like, again, it's very weird to me that he assumes that, yeah, men and women are wired a little different sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes, yes, literally there's more white matter in cis female brains and more gray matter in cis male brains. So yeah, there's a little bit of different wiring there. But they're not wired so differently so that one just doesn't have sexual needs.
Yeah, anyone who ever, guys, if anyone ever tells you that girls don't have sexual needs, they lied.
This bugs me a lot. Okay. All forms of intimacy that exist in marriage between a man and a woman are only to exist in marriage. Wait. That's a weird way of wording that sentence, isn't it?
That's just walking around in a circle.
That's
in sentence form.
That's a tautology. Intimacy that exists in marriage only exists in marriage. Well, you already defined it that way. What else do you expect us to get from there?
Yeah, like, what you just said is nothing. Words came from you, but they meant nothing.
Wait, we're not reading Jordan Peterson right now, right?
Ah, fuck, no.
Okay. Also, I'm not making fun of Jordan Peterson because of what he recently had to go through. I feel very sorry for his wife, and I feel bad for him for what he's going through. However, it doesn't stop him from being a piece of shit.
Yep.
Just... Sorry. I do not like JP.
Yeah.
Last paragraph before we conclude for today, and I'll go ahead and let you read it.
Okay. Which one? The, above or below? Right there.
As above,
It is
so below.
amazing to me how many Christian women will admit that a wife denying her husband's sex is an act of emotional cruelty toward him, but they are utterly blind to the fact that it is equally emotionally cruel to a man for him to be denied physical intimacy with a woman he sees on a regular basis while he dates her or is engaged to her. His needs before marriage are no different than his needs after marriage. Yes, except that in your worldview, in your purview, they have to go through this really important process. They have to begin this covenant, properly, in that, prescriptive way. And that God does not allow for them to do anything before they have done this thing. So you essentially just put them in this corner because of what God said in your approximation.
Does anybody else think that B.G.R. is just somewhat confused?
H.
That's an H for me as well. I think he's quite...
I think this is sign language for H.
Also, A.B. Fitz says, also on the subject of sexual needs, is not doing something a sexual need? I'm asexual and I have no libido. I have cuddle needs, but I don't consider myself to have sexual needs.
That's an interesting question.
I mean, so, again, I don't think that not doing something would be considered a need. You just lack the sexual need. But, ace doesn't necessarily mean you have no libido. You'd also need to be somewhat sex repulsed for that. But pedantics of language aside, I think that he's completely the idea that somebody could be asexual is probably completely lost on B.G.R. Sex repulsion is lost on him. Asexuality is lost on him. Varying amounts of libido are lost on him. Practically any nuance in attraction is lost on B.G.R., I am sure.
So, wow. Do I want to keep going? Or no?
I think that's probably where we can go ahead and
all right, we're
head off
gonna
for the
put a
time being.
bookmark there for right now.
Yeah, you also look somewhat drained.
It's okay. I mean, like, I didn't sleep well the last couple of nights, so got a finally, like, decent amount of sleep today.
Now, I have been surviving off of nothing but micro naps until finally today actually got some sleep. So, I can definitely feel you there. All things considered. Why do I not have that up? 1 second. Also, just because we are ending here, I do want to take a quick look and see where your subscriber count is currently. And, yep, we did it. You are over 200.
Yay! Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We somehow managed it. That means that there's still at least a few people who have not subscribed. So, since the show is ending, y'all now have no excuse to not go to another channel. So, when you are done here, please go ahead and go over to RinitaChan's channel and check out any of the work that she does over there, creepypasta readings and otherwise. That's over there. Link is in the description. Subscribe to her if you like what she does, or just subscribe anyway. I'm literally vouching for her. She's been a friend of the channel for... Is it almost...
months.
A good few months. At least 6 months. Something like that. So... hopefully you guys enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoyed the little cameo appearances from Wolven as well. I will make sure that before or after the stream, I'm going to go ahead and put Wolven's links in the description as well. But if you guys did enjoy all that, then please let me know in the comments when everything is done. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you all for watching.
Bye-bye, everybody.